Good morning, Raptor freaks. And just give me an audio check. Check, check, check. Please give me an audio check. I have a very interesting Thursday think tank for you guys this morning. We're talking about uh, Team Canada cutting down their roster for training camp down to just 16 players at this point. So there are going to be 4 more cuts before the end of this, maybe a couple alternates named out of those 6 people, out of those 6. But there's definitely going to be 10 guys are going to make the team at this point, is what they're saying. Josh Lewenberg on Twitter saying that there's 10 guys that are going to be making it. Now, can you hear me, guys? You guys should be able to hear me. Just give me a comment real quick if you can hear my microphone. I want to make sure because I'm not getting a reading on my computer. All right. So, yeah, yesterday, Oshae Brissett withdrew from Team Canada, and it was really because of his free agency. All right. Thanks, Dana. I appreciate that. He is a free agent. He just won his championship. I mean, I kind of like, why did you even come, man? If you knew that you were going to be a free agent and you probably, your spot could have gone to somebody that's more realistic about coming. I mean, in some ways, Oshae Brissett was never integral to be on Team Canada. He wasn't on the team for FIBA last summer. He was a finalist. He would have been one of the last guys, but he opted. He just didn't make it or something. I don't know. Maybe he was injured. I think he was injured last summer. I don't know. In some ways, it's like Brissett. I get it. In some ways, maybe you were cut and you were just saving face to say, well, I'm withdrawing for free agency. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. In some ways, I'm glad things are sorting themselves out the way that they're supposed to as far as Team Canada and who's going to be on it. Sure, a lot of people are upset Andrew Wiggins is not being allowed to be on Team Canada. Sure, people are disappointed that Zach Edey is decided to do the rookie summer league route instead of playing for Team Canada. And now Oshae Brissett is opting out because of free agency. Well, I honestly think maybe he came to that camp and he was outplayed by other guys. And, in some ways, you got to save some face in some ways and say, yeah, I'm leaving because free agency, guys. Okay, that's why. They need to make it very, very clear in the statement. The other person let go from camp yesterday was Kyle Alexander. Kyle Alexander, of course, was on the FIBA World Cup bronze medal team last summer. And a nice big. But with him out of the picture, well, it gets shrunken more and more who is available and who will make the final 12. Now, this is the 10 that I'm pretty sure will make it. And it's interesting at this point. And this is what Josh Lewenberg's agreeing and saying this. SGA, RJ Barrett, Luguentz Dort, Dylan Brooks, Kelly Olynyk, Dwight Powell, Nickel, Jamal Murray, Andrew Nebhart, and Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles is a lock at this point. With so many bigs going out at this point, Trey Lyles is absolutely essential for our bigs. So I think Trey Lyles of the Sacramento Kings, especially since he has a relationship with Jordy already, is a very much on the team for sure now. Now, Trey has been on Team Canada a couple times already, so it's not like he's a brand new guy just showing up for the first time. So, yeah, that's the 10 that are pretty ensconced for sure to be on Team Canada, all NBA players. And then there's 6 guys that are going to be fighting for the last 2 spots. And those 6 people are Kem Birch, Kabengele, Melvin Ejim, Trey Bell Haynes, and the 2 Scrub brothers. Now, realistically, I'm going to say this right now. The Scrub brothers will not be on this team in any sort of way. And we could just take them out of the picture. So it's really a choice of 2 between the other 4. Now, I will also say that Trey Bell Haynes, even though he was on the team last summer and he was a fantastic backup point guard for Team Canada at FIBA World Cup and helped us get the bronze, he was huge. He hit big threes. He played very steady off the bench, and we appreciate your service, but that relay baton has to be handed to guys like Andrew Nebhart and Jamal Murray at this point. That in some ways, with Jamal on the team and Andrew Nebhart coming in on this one, Trey Bell Haynes is not necessary. I think we're good at guard. So in some ways, I would say let's cut those 3 guys for sure, and then the 3 other guys will battle it out for 2 spots. And what I'll say right now is Kem Birch is probably in. Yeah. Kem Birch is probably in. Casuals will be doing double takes. Casuals may be like, why is Kem Birch on Team Canada? This is a lose. Americans will laugh at it. There'll be a lot of dumb people that'll think that it's a bad move, but they won't understand the truth like we do on this channel. They won't understand the truth because we watched Kem Birch recently.
Khem Birch is back, baby. Khem Birch is back, baby. He's healthy again. That whole time he played for the Raptors, his knee was messed up and he couldn't play exactly right. Well, he is back, baby. That's going to be the surprising thing for everybody. They're going to clown on Khem Birch and say all this crazy stuff about him coming in the Olympics, and then he's going to destroy people. Watch. I'm going to predict that right now. I've been coming out with all kinds of new predictions this week, and one of my predictions right now is that Khem Birch is going to wow people at the Olympics, and everybody's going to be like, holy shit, why isn't he back in the NBA right now? Because it's going to be like that, seriously. Now, the other spot between Ejim and Kabengele, and it could very well be we want to get Kabengele because of his shot blocking and his rebounding and his length. But if we want the experience and a solid backup, like small big, we go with Ejim. So either way, I don't see a problem either way. But Khem needs to be on this team. We need his size, and I don't care. Some ways I lean towards Melvin, just because Melvin's put in the service. In some ways, he needs to continue this ride with Team Canada into the Olympics. It's not time for him to pass the baton to the Olympic team to go for the gold. No. Rowan Barrett Sr. saying that he really looks at this Team Canada program as like a relay race. And the guys that do each part of the quad, the 4 years of the Olympic cycle, well, there's different legs. And guys like Trebell Haynes and Scrubs are on a different leg than the anchor leg. And the anchor leg is this summer at Paris Olympics. And that's why we need to have the fastest runner, the strongest runner, the best runner to finish up the race, to win at the finish line. And in some ways, everything that these guys on teams before contributed to this point that Team Canada is going to the Olympics. So they should not hold their heads down. They should be proud because they carried the baton to help us get there. And that's what I'm saying. So it's going to be very interesting. This camp will end on Friday, and they'll make a few more cuts before they fly to Las Vegas next week to play the friendly against the United States. So that's where we're at. So I would ask you, what do you think on this? What do you think about the names that I talked about in this situation at this point? How do you feel about Team Canada and their roster at this point, and how it's going to look probably with the final 12? You know, I would say this: Trebell Haynes and maybe Kabengele and one of the scrubs will be the alternates. There'll probably be 3 alternates just in case, break an emergency, something weird happens. It could very well be Trebell Haynes, Kabengele, or Melvin Ejim, or Philip Scrub or Thomas. So, yeah, that's why I look at it. Y'all give me y'all's comments on this and how you feel about how Team Canada's roster is shaping up. Some people are disappointed because it's not fully all NBA guys. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo, get over yourself. This is FIBA basketball. And in some ways, you need FIBA experience and veterans. Melvin Ejim is a FIBA experienced veteran. So that's all I got to say on that. Yeah, let's go, Raptor Freaks. Thursday Think Tank, talking all kinds of subjects. There's some stuff going on. Let's talk about it. All right, happy Independence Day to people. That's right. It is the 4th of July. All right, we got David in first. Dapping to the trivia commissioner, David Saborin, who's been doing a fantastic job since he started his tenure as trivia commissioner in the season 4 of Raptor Freak Trivia. We are building towards a 4th champion to be put on the Raptor Freak Trivia Championship trophy. The monster is in the room. I see it over there. I should maybe come and bring it to the frame. But I appreciate David and his patronage, and also doing the commissioner of trivia. So we're going to go ahead and get the card commissioned by Trevor J. The commissioner of fun sent this to me, and David will adjudicate. So get ready. It's time for the classic card of the day. Let's see who we get today. I'm just grabbing the first card I grab out of the box. I didn't pre-select. I just grabbed something, and the first one I grabbed is this one. So let's see who's going to get this. David decides the points and who gets it. As far as if it looks in the comments, he's the one who can see who gets in there first and whether you spelled it right or you half-assed it. So here is the classic card of the day. Y'all get ready. Here it is right there. There you go. Who is that? Who is that? Who is that? Guess who is that? You guys like that game, Guess Who? I like that game, Guess Who. It's pretty cool. Guess Who was fun. Like, does your person have glasses? No. Okay, flip all the people with glasses down. Does your person have blonde hair? No. Flip all the people with blonde hair down. Is your person David? Whoa, guess who? You got who it is. There you go. That's a fun game. All right. Does anybody have a guess on this? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Who is that? Who is that? George Gervin. Seymour. That is the wrong Texas team. And I mean, I guess he kind of looks like Gervin. Gervin was skinnier. He didn't have as big arms as this guy. Calvin Booth. That's an interesting guess by Smooth Brown Man. It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. That is a closer guess than George Gervin. I will say that. Calvin Booth, of course, in the front offices in the NBA at this point. Ralph Drollinger. Never heard that name before, Carlo. No disrespect. I have no idea who that is. That's hilarious. Mike is here. Mike is saying that's Al Horford. No, this guy's way before Al Horford. Al Horford is still in the league, but this jersey is pretty old for the Mavericks. You got to look at that jersey, Mike. That's a pretty old Mavericks jersey. But Al Horford's body type, very similar to this guy's. So there's a good clue right there. This guy, in some ways, I don't know. Let me see. You guys can see his face up close if you can figure it out. That's right. Old Dallas Maverick, number 52. All right, let's see what happened here. All right, Seymour, you are mostly correct. I would say that you have it all correct except for one letter. Seymour Pape. I don't know how you want to do it. There you go. All right, you want to fix it? There you go. There's your fix. That is right. That is Samaki Walker of the Dallas Mavericks. There you go. Seymour Pape fixing his first name. David will adjudicate the points for our sheriff out in Calgary, getting the Samaki Walker. Yeah, that's Samaki. There, you can tell in the back there, Samaki Walker. Yeah, there you go. Smooth and press. Wow. There you go. There's the classic card of the day. Today we got Samaki Walker. Never forget. That's right. Don't forget the classic card, guys. That's right. All right, let's keep moving. Thank you, David. You have said 150 points for Seymour Pape. I love it. There you go. Good stuff. That was a little bit difficult because he does look like Al Horford to me. He definitely does have those Al Horford ears that you were saying. And, the other person I was thinking you guys would guess on this was Boris Diaw. Although I don't think he ever played for the Mavs, maybe. So you're like, no, it's not Boris Diaw. Because they're all kind of the same body type and position. Samaki Walker, Al Horford, and Boris Diaw. Even though Boris Diaw was a great passer. Yeah. All right, Trevor J is here, the commissioner of fun. Thank you for the classic card box, Trevor J. It's just one of the best segments on the show. I feel like it's so much fun. Good morning, Raptors family. You will never be good enough for everybody, but you will always be the very best for someone who appreciates you. Wow, that's a heavy words of wisdom. There you go. I like that. In some ways, listen, if you're trying to people please everybody in the world, well, you're going to be disappointed. In some ways, when you find somebody who really appreciates you, well, that's somebody you should hold on to. That's for sure. I appreciate you, Trevor J. So I'm going to hold on to you, my guy. Trevor's saying yesterday, Jonte Porter was charged with a felony along with 4 others. Yeah, we heard recently that the OPP, the Ontario Provincial Police here in Canada, are investigating Jonte Porter and his betting scandal. Well, it has been divulged yesterday that the feds are after him also on the state side, that the federal government is investigating him for very serious betting allegations and scandal. Of course, we know what Jonte did. He's dead to rights. He's in big trouble. And, well, he's going to go to prison. The U.S. government's going to make an example of him. They don't want anybody doing what Jonte did ever again, whether it's Adam Silver, the NBA, whether it's the betting companies, whether it's the U.S. government. They will make an example of him. And they are going to make it so scary to any NBA player, anybody in any other sport to do that kind of stuff ever again that, yeah, they're going to say, no, you don't want a Jonte, bro. You do not want a Jonte. Because that's kind of crazy. The walls are closing in on him, and it sucks. It's sad because he had it all. He was set, and he fucked it up, and his addiction messed his life up. Man, it's so sad in some ways. The federal government is investigating you. You're fucked. You are fucked, Jonte. Because honestly, everything is there, plain and simple, to get you in trouble right there. Dana's here. Canadian Dana in the house. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone has a great day. Let's go, Team Canada. The vibes this week have been immaculate. I've seen RJ and all the other guys posting stuff from the Team Canada practice and training camp. And there's so many smiles. There's so many vibes. There's a funny clip of RJ and Dylan Brooks messing around, like kind of like play fighting. Yeah, it's just really cool. And I love the jerseys they've been wearing, the practice jerseys with the different red tones. And you can just tell. Some of it is that when you get a certain level of talent together, it just has a weird synergy. It has a lot of fun. There's a lot of respect. There's a lot of like, you know what? Yeah, you're awesome, Jamal. I've seen what you did for the Denver Nuggets. Oh, Andrew, what a great playoff. You were really good this playoffs, Nebhard. There's just something to it. In some ways, these guys are giddy and happy because they get to represent their country in Paris this summer. And it's a blessing and a privilege. And also, being able to play on a team with each other like this, it's not the U.S. team. It's not an all-star team, but it is a group of very savvy NBA veterans and youngsters that, have some skills. In some ways, I like the Canada balance, once again, between superstars and role players. Yeah, U.S., you go ahead and get some Hall of Fame dream team with LeBron and Kevin and Steph and all those guys. Well, we've got superstars that are matching some of your superstars in SGA and Jamal Murray, RJ Barrett. But we've got the important role players and defensive-minded players on Team Canada that will help us in certain ways than the U.S. in some ways. Some of you say, well, the U.S. has good defenders too, Lex. Yeah, but are they lazy? That's what I would say. You go ahead and put Joel out there, and we'll run circles around his sorry ass because he's lazy and he can't run the court. Go Team Canada. Yes, Dana, I love you. I'm going to give you a dunk for being awesome and being a very patriotic Canadian. That's right, on Canada Day week. And it's also 4th of July today. That's right. Dana is at 28 for dunks. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, let's see. Trevor J saying happy 4th, everyone. He's got a heart. He's got a burger. He's got a champagne glass or popping that champagne. He's got a pie. He's got it looks like curry. He's got a glass of wine, and he's got TV and basketball. I think this is Trevor's day pretty much. He's speaking the language of Tom Duke, the emoticon giant. And I can understand what Trevor's day is all about today on the 4th. It's about eating good food, having some dessert, and having some beverages, and watching some basketball on TV and feeling the love. That's pretty much what I'm seeing there from Commissioner J. That sounds like a great, great Thursday, my guy. Today I'm taking my truck down to the dealership to get some recalls fixed. But other than that, everything's good today. Yeah. Dana's saying to our noisy neighbors, happy the 4th. Yeah, y'all need to get it together. Y'all are celebrating Independence Day today. Well, let's make sure we continue to be an independent country, United States, and not go back to monarchy. This is the whole reason why y'all celebrate the 4th of July, is y'all separated yourself from the King of England. Well, do you want to have the King of Trump all of a sudden? Well, you better make a good decision this fall, because honestly, y'all are real close to changing the whole entire world in a really bad way. And I don't want no dystopian world where there's a dictator running the United States as a leading country in the world. People look to you as leaders, and this is not the turn we need, is to fascism. So let's all remember, as Americans, I am an American, why we celebrate Independence Day. And that's because we strive for freedom from religious persecution, freedom from dictators, freedom from kings. And Donald Trump wants to be your next king. And he wants to revert the country of the United States to a monarchy. That's what I'm saying. So y'all better choose wisely, and y'all better not sit on your ass, United States, as I talk to you on your 4th of July this year. Y'all need to get out there and vote. Y'all don't need to be like, well, they both suck and I'm staying home. Everybody needs to vote. And don't vote for that guy who's already told you he's going to change the rules so that he can stay in power perpetually forever. That is fascism. That is a man who wants to be king, and we need to reject him. That's the most American thing you can do, is to reject Donald Trump and hit what he has in plan for Project 2025 or whatever bullshit he's saying now. I'm telling y'all, your freedom and your independence is under fire. And I am not warning you facetiously right here. I'm very gravely serious. And y'all better realize what I'm saying, Americans down there. I will vote myself as an abroad American, and I will definitely be voting for Joe Biden. That's all I got to say on that right there. Yeah, you know what? He may be old and he may look really crazy right now, but he's the better alternative, trust me, between a dictator who wants to revert us back to the way it was before 1776. So you go ahead and make your decision wisely, Americans. I'll tell you that right now. If you want to clip that and put that all over social media, somebody, you go ahead, because some people down there need to hear what I'm saying right now. That's right. There you go. There you go, noisy neighbors. Seymour saying, top of the day to all. Seymour, you got that classic card. And he's like, top of the day to you. Yeah. Okay. And thank you, Dana, once again. Monique is here. The super fan, Monique Lawrence, is here. And she's saying, good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Kem Birch and Melvin get the spot. That's what she's saying, that she would like Melvin Egypt and Kem Birch, longtime Canadian national team basketball players, guys that have been on Team Canada for a good, better part of the last decade. Very experienced guys. This isn't like, these guys are just new and coming in. No, they know the ropes. They know who they're going up against on the other teams. They played a lot of the guys on the European teams a lot. Melvin Egypt plays in Europe. So he plays a lot of the guys that are going to be playing for the other teams. Kem Birch has been playing in Europe also, and he understands how to play FIBA defense, FIBA stuff. He understands the rules. So this is a great thing that we have Kem Birch probably going to be on our team. Casuals and people that just don't know what they're talking about are going to be moaning and groaning and whining about it. Watch. And then he's going to turn around and he's going to come out there and dunk it on their heads because he can jump again now. And they're going to be, holy shit, why didn't Kem Birch ever do this when he was on the Raptors? It's because he was hurt, you dumbasses. Yeah, I'm with you, Monique. Those are the two I'd like to see get added at the end. The 12-man roster is pretty much complete at this point. James is here. Good to see James. Great Raptor Freak. Participating in our WNBA Fantasy League, and all kinds of good questions and draft scouts from James. I heard Sixers are waiving Paul Reed. Didn't Nick Nurse say he's the next Pascal? Laugh out loud. He did say that. And you know what? I think with Paul George, I think with some of the free agency moves that they made recently, they had to do some housekeeping. And while their longtime big project, Paul Reed, is getting discarded at this point by the Sixers. Honestly, if he came to Toronto, that'd be a boon. I'd love to see Paul Reed in a Raptors jersey. There's players on different teams that I don't like that I don't mind coming here. Maxey and Reed were two of my favorite Sixers. We'll have to see what happens to Paul Reed. He's a very good player. And in some ways, it is what it is. There's always a shuffle up and re-deal during the offseason around free agency. And Paul Reed is just out in Philadelphia. I'm sure there's a lot of Sixers fans that are upset about this because he is a fan favorite. Yeah, Nick Nurse, whatever. Nick Nurse going to say what he's going to say. His old butthole face. Yeah. Seymour saying, I really hope you're right on Kem. I'm serious. I'm serious, Seymour. That prediction, I'll stand by it. You know that I have all kinds. This is my prediction season. Seriously, right now. I'm making strong predictions about the New York Knicks. I'm making strong predictions about the Lakers. I'm making a strong prediction about Kem Birch right now, that he is going to wow people. And people of Canada are going to love Kem Birch all over again. In some ways, it's going to be a redemption tour. It'll be the spotlight that Kem needed to show everybody who he really is, and that when he was hurt on the Raptors, that wasn't fair to judge him by. Yeah, we're going to see it. And Wendy Sparks will be smiling all the way. Trust me. Yeah. Dana's got Nick Nurse the clown, and two-finger salute for him. That's right. There you go. You get the old Stone Cold Steve Austin butthole face. Yeah. Can you give me a hell yeah? If it was saying salute, freaks, I will reserve my judgment until I actually see them play. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I've seen Kem Birch in the last 2 months play, and he is able to get up off the ground again. He was very tethered to the ground when he played for the Raptors. Think about it. He was positionally very good at meeting people in space and holding up space and setting picks and like coming in and rebounding, holding people off with his strong arms. And he has a stance that takes up space. Well, this is the thing. His knee was messed up the whole time. They were trying to go through like this inflammation, and it hurt. And in some ways, he tried to play many times when he probably shouldn't have because it hurt real bad. But now it's healed. That's what I'm trying to say, Seymour. Kem Birch's knee is 100% healed at this point, so he feels good. And you know how that is. When you have an injury, you can't do fully physically what you can do. Well, this is the first time he's felt healthy in like 5 years. So that's going to be the shock and surprise for everybody when they see Birch on the court is that, holy crap, how is he moving like that? Did he get younger or something? No, he's just healthy. And everybody had been waiting for him to get healthy. Nick Nurse was waiting for him to get healthy the last 2 years he was on the Raptors. Well, he's healthy now after he's out of the NBA. So it's going to be fun to see. I'm telling you, it's going to be good, Infamous. When you see Kem Birch, you're going to be shocked at how good he is right now. I'm not lying. This is not facetious, crazy shit. I saw him elevate and dunk on people's heads. And you didn't see that when he was on the Raptors. He can do it again now, right now. He looks like Kem Birch from early Orlando days, except he has all the smarts and the experience of his NBA career instead of being a young player who made it back through the Europe League to get to the NBA and carve a spot out on Orlando when he was playing next to Vucevic back then. You remember how Kem played for Magic then? That's what I'm talking about right there, Infamous. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yeah, yeah. Except he's got his smarts from being older. That's right. Monique is saying that Jonte is fucked, plain and simple. He totally is. I mean, because he's dead to rights guilty. There's just too many receipts. There's too much of evidence that he's absolutely guilty in every kind of way. In some ways, that addiction just made him very, very sloppy. And in some ways, it is what it is. He's getting what he gets. And man, what an idiot. You make me so mad, Jonte Porter. Because honestly, you make people that work so hard to try and make the league, and then you just made the league, and then you did this. And you had all those injuries, and then you did this. You were going to make all this money, and you did this. What is wrong with you, Jonte? And now you're going to be sitting behind bars for a good chunk of your life now, probably. I don't know. How many years you think Jonte will get? 10, 20 years? For what he did? Who knows? I don't know what the penalty for this is. Maybe because he's famous. Maybe because he's somebody. He gets like a slap on the wrist. He gets a huge fine. And he's probation for like 50 years or something like that. I don't know. Maybe he does go to prison. Maybe he does sit in a little box room with bars in the window very, very soon. I have no idea. It could be like that. It seriously could. Yeah. Victor J is here. We got our Sixers fan in the house. Let's see what Victor's saying this morning. What's up, Raptor Freaks? If Embiid, Maxey, and Paul George, big three, stay healthy along with Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond, Oubre, and they are looking to bring in another guy like Highsmith, can they finally win the chip? Yeah. All right, Victor. You know, once again, I'm very biased on this. I'm very, very, very biased on this. I always say this, that any team with Joel Embiid will not win a championship because in some ways, and this is the whole reasoning behind this, he is so integral for your success. You're absolutely your best team when Joel plays. And that was the first half of the season last year. Now, Nick ran him into the ground. He got hurt. And in the second half of the season, he couldn't play. And y'all had trouble winning then. And you kind of fell in the standings. And well, this is the thing. Joel is such a big, lumbersome man that in some ways he is prone to injury. It's just going to happen because in some ways he plays carelessly. He falls all over the place. But also, it's just how it is. He's a big guy. He's going to get worn out. And this is the thing. If you're going to have to rely on Joel to be healthy, to be your absolute optimal team, you're fucked. Because he cannot stay healthy a whole entire regular season and a full playoff. If you were going to the championship, you may lose him in like the second or third round on your way. And that's the problem right there, man. That is the problem right there. So I don't know. I don't think Paul George is an upgrade. I think that Paul George is a better, more attractive version of Tobias Harris, but he's not that far off from him. He's way more overhyped than he actually is. Paul George has not really won since he was in Indiana. So you guys can go ahead and get all happy about your big three, but I'm telling you, I'm not impressed by Paul George joining your team. A lot of people are saying, oh, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm more interested in Drummond being your backup again. And Eric Gordon could be a very interesting pickup as a three-point shooter. So, and I'm really happy for y'all that Oubre re-signed with you guys. I get it. You know, Oubre was on the Charlotte Hornets and he toiled and he had a really horrible time there because it's losing and just a really bad franchise to be on. So getting into the Sixers and being coached by Nick Nurse and being around there was a breath of fresh air. And it really brought out the baller in Kelly Oubre Jr. Well, this summer, he rewarded y'all by taking a lower contract. He could have actually gone out and got way more money. But he likes playing for y'all. And y'all are lucky that he came back and circled back on a very reasonable contract. Honestly, that Kelly Oubre deal, I thought he was going to go get Buco Bucks, like maybe even go to Lakers. But yeah, he stuck with you guys. And you know what? You should be very happy about that. In some ways, I'm more scared of Kelly Oubre Jr. than Paul George. Let's just put it that way. How about that, Victor J? How about that? But yeah, my logic with y'all is always Embiid is your most pivotal, important player. Well, you go as far as his health goes. That's what I say right there. Yeah, Smooth saying Samaki Walker. That's right. Wow. Well, Laker guy. That's right. A Laker guy. Yeah. And Seymour saying, well appreciated, getting the 150 points for the Dallas Mavericks, Samaki Walker. That's right. Federal charges, baby. Yikes. Brooklyn got him. Brooklyn got him. Let's see. So we're saying when the government gets involved, it's over. Okay, Vince Carter. Seymour saying Raptors federal team, Keon Clark, Jonte Porter. Ah, man. Yeah. I mean, let's not bring up Keon. Keon is his own addictions and stuff like that. Yikes. Let's see. Keon Clark is a very sad case, man. Yeah, he is. At least he's free man now. I don't know. Hopefully he's rehabilitated and he's clean. Hopefully he's able to reassess his life after addiction and be able to have somewhat of a healthy life at this point. In some ways, I don't think that's probably true. In some ways, he's probably still mired in the sadness and the haze of his addictions at this point, which is sad because honestly, Keon Clark, as a guy who went to AA one day, sat in a room and has almost 14 years of no alcohol. I wish that for you, Keon. I really do. And I have no idea what's going on in your life. You could be clean and sober, and I hope that is true. Yeah. Seymour saying I got to empty 2 containers today. One from Temple, Texas, and another one from China. People, a PPN, a PPE, personal protection stuff like masks. And remember, people, wash your damn hands. Health, wealth, stealth. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and it's also very smart for survival in today's society of viruses. Seymour, that's interesting. I heard that y'all's water is back on tap, that y'all don't have a water boiling advisory anymore, so the water is better in Calgary. Thank God. That's a good thing. Did hear that news at some point. But yeah, cool. So you're unloading some containers from Texas and China. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Victor's saying, let's go Sixers Nation. Nurse has this nice super team to work with. Your team is getting better, I think. I do think it is getting better. But in some ways, I'll just stand by what my Embiid comment is. Maxi's fantastic. I have all the respect in the world. I think Maxi's just amazing young man, amazing young player. And in some ways, I'm glad we got Quickly, which is, a good friend of Maxi's from the same school. And they're similar kind of players in some ways. So in some ways, man, Maxi's something else. Now, I'm really shocked about the Paul Reed news. He was one of the guys on your team I really liked and respected also. So that's pretty interesting. David's saying, haha, that's funny. Dunk for Victor. All right, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll give Victor a dunk as a Sixers Nation is in here. We're being friendly. We'll give Victor J a dunk. He's on his 4th dunk. He's got a Scotty Barnes 4 now. Scotty Barnes 4. I should say like a Sixers name instead. I don't know the number 4 for Sixers. It's like Cedric Toney or something probably. Let's see. Victor J saying Nick Nurse for president. That wouldn't be bad, honestly. Out of the guys who are running, I would rather Nick Nurse be the U.S. president, and that's as a Raptors fan. Even though he totally fucked us over with his stupid bullshit in his last year of coaching the Raptors, I would still pick Nick Nurse over those 2 guys, those old guys that are running right now. And it's not, listen, Biden is the right choice. Trust me. There's no third party that's better because the third party ain't gonna win. So everybody just needs to vote Biden. Don't get me wrong. But if Nick Nurse was the president, I would be feeling safer, I think. I don't know why. I guess in some ways I really do understand Nick's brain. And he is a caring person deep down. He may be an asshole. He may talk to people really harshly. But he is somebody who has a heart. And in some ways, that's what we need as a president. We need somebody who actually cares about people. And Donald Trump does not care about people. He does not care about people in the least. Trust me. Let's see. David is saying, don't come in here and start praising Nick Nurse. It's ridiculous. And we all think that guy is a flying, talking donkey. Listen, David, at the end of things, we will honor Nick Nurse in the end. It's just while he's actively coaching, as long as he doesn't slight Canada, he called us fascinating. I won't have any problem with him. In some ways, he has gone radio silent on talking about Toronto, unlike Vince Carter. And that's the difference. Vince Carter slagged Toronto and Canada, the Raptors, in his broadcasting career and throughout his whole last part of his 20-year career. So fuck Vince Carter. That's what I say. But Nick, he can leave in a bad way, the snake coach, just like Vince left. And I'll hate him for that, sure, because I'm mad at him because he had a good thing here, but it ran its course. And, but in the long run, he's our championship coach for our first championship. So I will honor him when he retires as a coach. Maybe if he goes and coaches a Western Conference team, I'll start to like him again. But when he's coaching a division rival like the Philadelphia 76ers, no, fuck him. He's the enemy. Yeah, fuck Nick Nurse and his butthole face bullshit. But yeah, if he switches around, if he goes to another team, like if he's coaching out in the Western Conference, I might start liking him again because I do like Nick and I do appreciate him. He is a great coach and he is the Raptors' first ever championship coach. So that's always special. So, but I will pause my affinity and wanting to honor him because I do want to honor him later on down the road as long as he doesn't fucking shit all over us in different ways after this. Now, it's one thing for him to play us in the playoffs and like coach a team to kick the Raptors' ass. That may piss me off, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it is in some ways. There you go. All right, let's keep going. Monica's saying Jacoby at the Blue Jays game, and I don't even watch the Jays one bit. Yeah, I don't either, Mo, but I'm hoping they'll get it going. They've had a rough start to this MLB season, but I'm hoping they'll get going. Yeah, this is a ritual. The rookies always come and go to a Blue Jays game in the beginning. Jacoby very proud of his Blue Jays number 14 jersey. Let's go do the Instagram stories since Monica's brought up this. First, Raptors admin posted a video of the chain. They showed a whole bunch of people getting the chain this past season. RJ, Scotty, Emmanuel, Grady, and Chris. And we finally saw the Chris Boucher chain moment that was not given to us in the middle of the season. And it was crazy because Chris is spinning the thing and Darko comes up and hugs him. And then all of a sudden, the Raptor emblem on the chain falls off. It looks janky and cheap as fuck. And Chris is trying to spin it without it on there. I'm like, what the fuck? No wonder they didn't release this because it looks really cheap and fucked up. That like the Raptor logo fell off the chain when Chris Boucher won the chain. Oh my gosh. In some ways, y'all didn't need to let that segment see the light of day. Honestly. You didn't post it the night it happened. So why the fuck did you circle back and post it now, Raptors admin? Oh my gosh. It don't look good for the franchise. Let's just put it that way. Grady, of course, reposting his chain moment. They do this thing like when they get the chain, they go like this, all of them, and then they spin it. Scotty, Emmanuel, and Grady mimicking each other and doing the same things. All right, let's see what else Grady's talking about. Grady also has a very beautiful picture of downtown Toronto, the Sky Dome, and the CN Tower all red and white. And it's just a beautiful picture. It's got the sunset. The sky looks amazing. Grady's a really good photographer. Like he takes very good pictures. And that's a fantastic picture. It makes me proud as a Torontonian to see how beautiful the city I live in is. That's right. Manuel quickly showing the workout. And he's got the big dumbbell and he's pushing it. Yeah, Manuel's working hard, y'all. He's working with the ropes and the shots are going up. He's taking a lot of shots. There was a clip of him making a bunch of threes in a row on his Instagram yesterday. Yeah, Emmanuel's putting in that work down in Miami right now, and we appreciate you, Emmanuel. Next year's going to be big time for barbecue. That's right. There's Wubbs. He's got a picture of him representing the USA and an under USA team. Jacoby Walter, of course, has played for Team USA Select under 17 or something like that, and he's wearing the number 14 in that picture. And there he is at the ballpark. Take me out to the ballpark. And they had the dome roof open. That's right. So he's sitting in the VIP box the Raptors players always sit in when they go to a Blue Jays game. So Jacoby Walter taking in the MLB yesterday. Let's see who else we got on the Instagram stories. Yes, sir, Scotty was out with the dogs yesterday. Yeah, he had showed us an update with how he's training Cece to fetch the ball. And he's saying to everybody, she's really good now. She's just on it. And he showed us. He threw the tennis ball in the yard, and Cece goes and gets the ball, brings it back. And Scotty's so proud. He's such a proud dog dad. He's kind of like, oh, Cece, you're so good. You're so good. And then he's taking pictures of both Cece and Cardi sitting in the yard. And then also a beautiful picture of Cardi on his Instagram still with a pink heart on it. So beautiful and fun to see Scotty enjoying his summer with his dogs. And he's so happy to have one of his best friends on the Raptors now, Jonathan Mobo. So life is just good. Scotty's about to sign a new extension in the next couple of days. It's going to give him an amazing amount of wealth for the rest of his life. And life is so, so good for Scott. And I'm so happy for him and proud for him. And I love the dog dad that you are and the fun we get to see when we see the clips of you with your dogs in the yard, Scott. It's so amazing and beautiful. The love between Scotty, Cece, and Cardi. That's right. That's right. RJ Barrett showing clips from Team Canada practice and different people hitting shots. SGA. We see Nebhard. We see Shaden Sharp. We see Kelly Olynyk. We see RJ. So, yeah, Team Canada clips have been fun to see them down at the OVO Center putting in work. And there's your Instagram stories. Scotty has been training them dogs right. Training them dogs right. You better raise your dogs right. G saying Embiid, Paul George, and Hayward, if they get him, are all injury prone. The healthiest contending teams tend to win the chip. G dropping science, I'll say like big science, like Jonas Valanciunas, dropping science because he's a knowledgeable guy. Our season 1 Raptor Freak champion. G is one of our smartest Raptor Freaks, and he's just coming in here spitting facts. And I'm going to give G a 3-pointer for this because honestly, he's exactly right. In some ways, Paul George has not stayed healthy very well in the last few years. You got the Chuck Hayes 44, G. You got that Chuck Hayes 44, my guy. I love it. I love it. That's so awesome. Yeah, he's hitting the nail on the head right there. Now, that's an extension of what I said about Embiid earlier. Well, Paul George is another one of these guys. Cowboys saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. Dap to you, Cowboy. All the Raptor Freaks out there, all the new faces on the team. Who are you most excited about? Mine are Ulrich and Brandon Carlson. Yeah, I mean, you're picking the guys at the tail end of the draft. I am extremely excited about Jacoby Walter and Jonathan Mobo. I know that these are the guys who will probably come in and do the most for the Raptors right away, but your two guys are really good prospects for the future. And I'd love to see Brandon Carlson actually get to a full NBA level kind of player. Right now, he's a two-way, and that'll be very useful for both squads. In some ways, I hope we utilize Carlson like we should have utilized Koloko in his rookie season. In some ways, Koloko should have been bouncing back and forth between the 905 and the Raptors way more than he was. Well, Carlson hopefully will do that because he can be very useful for both teams. He can be useful as a big center depth, you know, for the amount of games he can play for the Raptors on the big squad. If he can be there for some games, that'll really help. Now, Ulrich, woo, yeah, come back and talk to me about him in about a year or two. Watch. Yeah, David's saying, Ulrich, no way. You never mentioned that before. You know, Ulrich Komsche, yeah, from the Basketball Africa League. He is going to, oh, yeah, David's being sarcastic. We know Cowboy loves Ulrich Komsche. Victor saying, waiving Paul Reed opens up $9.2 million in cap space, so he has to go. That's just one of those tough decisions. I mean, y'all had such a big pile of money to deal with in Philly this summer. I couldn't believe how much money. It's like, okay, I get it. Tobias Harris's contract expired. That's why all of a sudden they got all this damn money. And I'll bet Victor J's kind of laughing at the amount that Detroit just gave him. I'm shocked at how much they paid him because honestly, in some ways, he's not a $25 million a year guy, and he got $50 million for 2 years. That's crazy to me. Detroit, you just make mistakes left and right. That's just what's going on with the Pistons. They are a mess. They are a mess. Total mess. This whole thing where they're paying Monty Williams all this money to go sit at home, and they had to switch their GM this summer. Yeah, they're in chaos mode. In some ways, them drafting Ron Holland so high is just a signature of like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing. Oh, man, the Pistons are a mess. Go ahead and sign Tobias like that. Go ask Sixers Nation. And then, go ahead and reach on Ron Holland so early in the draft. Yeah, the Pistons are like, I don't know. They're fucked. They are so fucked right now. Yeah. Yeah, let's see. All right, let me see who else is. All right, where am I? I jumped ahead. Let me make sure I don't miss one. Oh, yeah, I jumped way ahead. I got to make sure I get here. All right, here it is. Cowboys laughing. And David's saying a year ago, Nick Nurse was saying he wanted Paul Reed to be like Siakam. And now they're waiving him to clear $9 million in cap space. Ha, 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 ha. Now that's a coach who knows what he's talking about. I mean, you know, he's going to praise guys. I mean, I can't see the offensive stuff in Paul Reed to be Siakam. Siakam is just a special talent at this point. He's an underappreciated, underrated talent because honestly, nobody can stop him in this league. There's some things about him that are very Jordan-esque that nobody talks about because he comes from Toronto, because he's from Cameroon. He's not American. He's not a very attractive top player in the league. So he doesn't get marketed right. But that guy is actually on the down low, one of the most unstoppable players in the league, Pascal Siakam. Now, Paul Reed doesn't have those kind of skills. Maybe Nick was hoping that maybe he could get to that kind of level of unstoppableness on defense, on offense. Well, Paul Reed's a great rebounder, and he's a pretty good defender. I don't know. Either way, that's their decisions. I mean, Paul Reed's been on their franchise for a while now. for a while. Well, new change of scenery may be good for his career, honestly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Dana's laughing. David's saying Sixers Nation is bananas. Bananas. Yeah, okay. Cowboys saying hit is bananas. Bananas. Okay, that song. This it is bananas. Okay, yeah, I know that song. It's so great to be a Raptors fan. Oh yeah, I think it's fun to be a Canadian basketball fan right now with Team Canada going to the Paris Olympics and the WNBA coming as a franchise to our city. There's a lot of fun things Canada basketball wise coming up, and yeah, the Raptors barbecue era is going to be fun. We got to let it cook for a little while though. In some ways, it's not going to be ready to serve right away, so we got to let barbecue cook and slow roast. Slow roasted barbecue tastes the best anyway. So Raptors fans, let that barbecue cook slow. Yeah, it'll taste so much better in the end if you have patience. That's what I'm saying right there. Bananas. Yes, Tom Duke is here. He's got butthole face and some bananas. Good morning. Go Canada. Go Canada to the Paris Olympics. Get the gold medal and tell Americans to kick rocks. Tom Duke's like, Canada, #1. Good timing. All right. Seymour saying Nick Nurse needs to be in a straitjacket. I don't know if that's true. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's just a psycho. He's just very, very committed to winning, very competitive, very cutthroat guy. Once again, I'll tell this story. Maybe Victor J doesn't know this about his coach. He grew up in Iowa in a very poor family with a lot of siblings, and they didn't have a lot of money. So when Nick Nurse got up for breakfast in the morning when he was a little kid, he had to fight his brothers just to get food. So that's kind of why he's conditioned the way he is because when he was a kid, they didn't have anything. And if you wanted a toy, well, he had to scrap for it. That's just how it is. So he's very much, that kind of tells you everything you need to know right there. All right. Alley-oop to Sheriff. Yeah, we'll give Seymour a dunk here. Let's see, where's Seymour Pape? Seymour, you're at 90 now. 90 dunks for the Sheriff, Seymour Pape. Let's see. Salute, gang. Ta-da. All right, I'll do the ta-da ad. You guys are just like one hand washes the other. Dunk for Seymour and give me the ta-da ad. Guys, if you live in the greater Toronto area and you're having trouble cleaning your area rug, that's right, a rug in your area of your living room that kind of is on the floor. Maybe it's been trodden with mud. Maybe it's kind of got a mark on it from some kid dumping Kool-Aid on it or something like that. If you're having trouble cleaning that area rug, you could get Bradley to come clean it for you. You just got to call Tada, 647-833-6844. Call for a free quote. You'll actually get Bradley at that number. And they'll say, yeah, I'll come and clean your area rug with Kool-Aid mashed all over it. I can give you a good quote. There you go. Boom. Tada service. There you go. 647-833-6844. That's right. Y'all should probably know that number by now. Seriously, I tell it to you every day almost. Let's see. David's saying Nick Nurse is a fundamentally solid coach. Theoretically, he's just terrible at managing people, personalities, and egos. Oh, and he's a sellout and a little bizatch. I'm gonna give David a 3-pointer on this one. Yeah, our commissioner of trivia not holding back on this one, and I approve. That's right. So we're gonna say 137 for David Saborin, our trivia commissioner. Yeah. You know what? I will say this. I agree. He is a great coach. He's a fantastic coach. He's one of the best coaches in the league 5 years ago. That's the problem. In some ways, Nick Nurse's ideas and how he tries to do things, they're not serving very well in the present day. And that's part of the reason why when we hired Darko, we wanted to find somebody forward thinking. And in some ways, Nick, he was kind of sitting the same note on the piano too many times in his last couple of years with the Raptors. We became too predictable. And in some ways, he wasn't innovating enough to get us better results. So in some ways, I'm worried about Nick Nurse being one of those guys who's like a really genius coach. Like 5 years ago when we won the championship, but in the last 5 years, the NBA has evolved and changed. And in some ways, he's set in his own old ways. And it may have passed him by to a degree. I really do believe this about Nick. I was starting to feel this in his last couple of years as a Raptor head coach. And well, the game continues to evolve. And people like Darko, who are forward thinkers, who think in an offensive way and not just in a defensive way like Nick does, yeah, they're going to be better off in the future. Watch. They're going to be better off in the future. Yeah, Cowboys got the lineup out there. He's got Emmanuel, Scotty, and RJ. He's got Jakob twice. He's got Davion and Jonathan and Jacoby. And he's got Mo, myself, Masai, and Darko. There you go. I love it. Trevor's saying this Sixers fan climbing up the wrong tree this morning. He might get put out of the chat. No, I have no problem with Victor J. He's being civil. We're just discussing things. In some ways, he comes to hear our opinions. That's all. In some ways, he's being respectful. He's not coming in here and talking trash, Trevor. So no problem with Victor J. We like having people from other nations, like Mel Bester for New York and Victor J for Philadelphia, to be able to have a full-rounded conversation. So I value having Victor J here, Trevor. David's saying, attaboy, Trev. Get him. All right, let's be kind. All right, Victor's saying, I'd love for Philly to get Lauri Markkanen and pay the luxury tax. I don't know how Boston can sign all these guys to huge deals. Well, they're in the second apron, and they're going to be hamstrung. In some ways, they're like, well, we really know these are the guys we want, and we're going to lock it in because we're not going to be able to do a whole lot on the periphery of our roster in major ways after this. Yeah, I don't understand it either. In some ways, I've always wondered about this. How do some teams get crazy-ass payrolls like this? Well, the apron system is going to change this. And we'll have to see how tough it is for a team at the top of the payrolls like Boston to do what they need to do, because the penalties are very, very tough and stiff. Now, you saying, yeah, go ahead and get Lauri Markkanen. Well, that's going to really hurt your front office from having any kind of flexibility if you guys go into the second apron like Boston. Let's just put it that way. So everybody wants Markkanen right now. I hear he's available from Utah, but I don't know who might get him. I know the Spurs Nation really wants him down there with Wemby. So I'm hearing a lot of noise from the San Antonio fans saying they want to find a deal to figure out how Lowry could be on their team. So Smooth saying, I saw some videos of Delonte West. It almost made me cry, man. This is what I'll say. Once again, on this Independence Day, this day where Americans celebrate independence from King of England and UK, you are only as great of a nation as how you treat your poor, your elderly, and your sick. And honestly, the way that the United States is moving with outlawing people sleeping in public, if a city wants to banish people from being able to be out in public and like homeless people and put them in prison, that is not going towards the credos of the founding fathers of the United States, where they said, we will take in your sick, your tired, and your poor at the Statue of Liberty. If Delonte West is somebody who has serious issues in his life, obviously. And in some ways, if the United States was more of a rehabilitative country with a soft comfort to people and a humanitarian way, maybe he would have had some help by now and he'd be in a better place. But no, it's a cold, dark place, the United States. And if you're elderly, if you're sick, if you're poor, if you're homeless, it's only going to get darker going forward. Trust me. Unless we get better leadership and we cut out the corporate money in politics. That is a big part of it right there. And until they figure that out down there, well, they're sinking into a dystopia where more and more people fall into homelessness and they can get put in prison for being outside, sleeping in a tent. That is messed up. I will say that all around. United States, you're going in the wrong direction. And I'm telling you, on the Independence Day, y'all need to really soul search and think about what your country is supposed to mean and stand for. Because y'all are going way off target with what the original intention was at this point, is what I'll say right now. Yeah. There you go. Let's see. Where am I here? I'm with Seymour. Don't give the Sixer a dunk. Give him a block. No, I mean, it's a league, man. We got teams in the league. They're one of our enemies, sure. They're a division rival. But you know what? In some ways, we got to respect the history of Toronto versus Philadelphia and the matchups and all the different history with us. In some ways, I have no problem with it. Him being here, he's respectful, and we're good. If it turns, well, that can change. But right now, I don't have any problem with Victor J at all, guys. I really don't. Cowboys saying Masai is a world boss. Masai Ujiri? Yeah, I could see that. Victor's saying, which one is easier to still love as a fan, Vince Carter or Nick? Neither one. I'm not even saying I love either of them right now. There's a big push with Vince right now to celebrate him up in Toronto, and I'm not with it. I still have it fresh in my mind what he did 20 years ago, honestly. I'm an old fan. I've been a diehard fan of the Raptors since the beginning, since they named the team. And I was there. I felt everything that happened with Vince Carter, the highs and then the very serious low after he left. And in some ways, I haven't forgiven him because, honestly, he hasn't come correct with an apology. He hasn't come correct with an attitude where he kind of sees where he fucked up himself. He just blames everybody else for what happened. The management, Rob Babcock, the coach, everybody else but himself. Listen, I'll say this once again to Vince Carter. You were the one who decided to half-ass play and fucking cheat the fans. When you're making millions of dollars, that is just fun. In some ways, that's like a doctor who has a Hippocratic oath. Yeah, my Hippocratic oath, or a journalist that has like a certain thing that they won't do, like give up sources. They have like certain standards. And an athlete, a player, a professional athlete that gets paid money to play a game needs to understand that they should have the same kind of standards to try their best as possible. And the fact that he went from 12 points average his last year with the Raptors to a 27 points a game average with the Nets, like that is absolute horse crap. And in some ways, as much as a doctor messes up their Hippocratic oath, as much as a journalist gives up a source or breaks their credo of what their profession is about, I say that Vince Carter broke his professional credo by dogging it in a game and not playing up to just to try and stimulate him leaving. It's so unforgivable in my book in some ways. In some ways, this pisses me off and is just as unforgivable as what Jonte Porter did. Seriously, right there. So I would tell you, it's easier for me to forgive Nick Nurse, and neither one of them I love. I don't love either one of them. I respect them for both of their contributions to Raptors culture and history, but I don't love either one of them. I don't even really like either one of them at this point. So there you go. Randolph saying, good morning, beloved Raptor freaks. Most informative gang, blessings. What is your contribution to this day? Purpose in your heart to make a good mark. Yours is important. There you go. Boom goes a dynamite. Intention is really important. So you got to have the right intention in your life, and then you'll get good things happening. Man, really good wise words from you guys today. And I'll go look at Leo's wise words today. This is what Leo's life tips are. Happiness will never come to those who fail to appreciate what they already have. This is kind of similar to like being happy in the now, not getting worried about the future or worried about the past. In some ways, you got to assess what you have in your life and have gratitude for it and appreciate it. Because honestly, you could lose things. You could gain more great things. There's all kinds of different ways to go. But appreciating what you already have ensures that you can keep what you already have if you really, really do want to keep it in your life. Yeah. Thank you, Leo, for your life tips. And I love what Leo's been doing this week. He's been sharing a lot of pictures on Twitter of the teams that he played on with Team Canada. It's kind of like this week we kicked it off with a trivia on Team Canada Olympic alumni and also talking about the reunion this past weekend. Well, Leo's just going on with more Twitter posts. Check it out. Follow Leo Routens. You can see his life tips and also the really cool pictures he's posting from his Team Canada days playing for Olympics. Yeah, there you go. Seymour saying, now that's a tough one. Ugh. Vince, 100%. Tom says it's 100% easier to love and appreciate Vince. See, there's a lot of Raptors fans that aren't mad at Vince like I am. They're usually younger. They're usually people that just see the dunk highlights and don't actually know the ugly side of things about Vince Carter. Yeah. Victor J. Okay, I think I got my answer already. No to Vince. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird situation with Vince because I do want to honor him. I do understand how important he is to the Raptors history, but I don't want a jersey retire for him. I really don't. I don't think he deserves it. Amir Johnson, former Philadelphia 76er, is a better 15 in the Raptors jersey in my heart. And he wore 15 after Vince. And in some ways, if you're going to retire 15 and put it in our rafters, I want it to say Johnson on it. Yeah, I would say that right there. David saying, I don't like either one of them. I'll clap for his ass once after he retires, and that'll be it. There you go. So he'll clap for Nick once he retires, and that's it. That's it. He gets one clap. That's it. He'll clap once. There you go. Denial saying, believe you can, and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt, good morning, Raptors family. Cool. Denial come in with words of wisdom. We've got a fourth wise man, and he's saying, believe you can, and you're halfway there. There you go. I actually believe this too. You know, have the audacity to try something that's out of your comfort zone just because you want to, just because it's a passion. And who knows? You could be there faster than you thought. Yeah. Bam. What an entry. Bam. Bam, son. Bam. Bam. Alan Tam. Bam. Where's Alan Tam? I need my update on Canada roster today. Alan Tam. Bam, son. Where's your update? Come on now. Come on now. Yeah. Victor saying a Vince statue dunking would be pretty cool in front of the stadium. Don't you think Vince would be the first jersey retired with Toronto? Clippers and Raps are the only two teams without a retired jersey. I don't want them to retire his jersey. I've said that already. I don't want to see his name in our arena because in some ways it's not right. Now, what you said in the first part is exactly what I want them to do. In some ways, Vince is most known for his dunk contest in Oakland. That is what put us on the mark and put him on the mark. He came down there and said it's over and showed the best dunking competition in the history of the dunk competition. He's the greatest dunker in NBA history. And he never won anything. He was in the league for a long, long time. That's kind of his other accolade is he's a longevity guy who was in 4 decades. He played different 4 decades in the NBA. But he should have exactly what you're saying. You put one of those iconic dunks, whether it's the arm through the hoop or whatever one that he did between the legs, and you put that statue out in Jurassic Park outside of the Scotiabank Arena. That's exactly what I want them to do. They treat him like Kobe, treat him like MJ, treat him like George Gervin down in San Antonio. Give him a statue, Masai Ujiri. That's the best way you can honor him. In some ways, it'll be a tourist attraction. People will want to come and see the Vince Carter statue near the arena and put it outside. I'm telling you, in some ways, Vince is bigger than just the Raptors. He's across Canada important because he had the Carter effect. And in some ways, our great team going to Paris Olympics this summer is partly responsible because of him. So I would say put it out there in the open so people don't have to come in the arena to honor Vince because all of Canada needs to honor Vince outside because he impacted the sport in this country by far. Oh, yeah, he did. And I love him for that. I can love him for that, Victor. But that's how I look at it. I don't want to see his jersey inside. And if you're talking about the first jersey to be retired, I want it to be number 10. That's personally what I want. I think that in some ways we traded number 10 for number 2, and we got a jersey. I mean, we got a championship in 2019 because of it, but we sold out DeMar. And in some ways, DeMar DeRozan deserves to be the first Toronto Raptor to get his jersey retired. And I'm willing to wait. I'm not in any hurry. The Clippers ain't retired no jersey numbers, and they've been in the league way longer than the Raptors. So we can wait even longer. I'm not in no hurry to put a Raptor jersey up in the Raptors, and I don't want it to be Vince's. It should be either DeMar's or Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry, if he's done soon, we will put that number 7 in the Raptors because those are 2 Raptors that deserve to have their jerseys retired before him. I would even say I want to put Siakam's jersey up there before Vince Carter's. Put his up there, and maybe even Fred's. Yeah. David's saying we have retired jerseys. They just aren't hanging yet, 10 and 7. That's right. We're waiting for those guys to retire, and those numbers will go up. In fact, I want them to get retired together. Hopefully, I don't know. DeMar may play longer than Kyle. Kyle may be done very soon, actually, and DeMar may get another contract. Hopefully, he's going to the Lakers, and he'll be in the league for another 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years. But I can see Kyle being done in the next 2 years. And that may mean that Kyle's the first jersey retired. And in some ways, it should be a champion. It should be a guy who actually held the Larry O'Brien up for the Toronto Raptors that gets his jersey retired first. The GOAT, the greatest Raptor of all time. Sixer last year for you guys. Hometown hero for Philadelphia. Yeah, it should be Lowry that gets the jersey retired first. That's what him or DeRozan. I want to do it sentimentally for DeMar, just to show, like, dude, you were that important to what we did here, and you should get this honor. At number 10 should be, if Masai Ujiri had to call him from Africa and give him the hard news that he got traded to San Antonio in the middle of the night, well, make it right, Masai, and retire DeRozan's jersey number 10 first. That's what I would say right there. Facts. That's right. Bam, son. There you go. David's saying a statue of Vince dunking in front of the stadium would be ironic. Laugh out loud. I love it. There's 2 spots where I think it could be on the Bay Street side. There's a VIP entrance that's kind of near where the big wigs go upstairs. You could put it right in that little area there where some of the scalpers stand, and it would be a nice spot for him too there. Yeah, either that or over on Jurassic Park side. Those are the 2 spots I'm talking about. Maybe a little bit over towards Union Station entrance, away from Leafs Alley with their Leaf statues they put out there. The Leafs are really, the Raptors are more popular. The Raptors are getting more. They're really scared. They have to go put sign out there saying Maple Leaf Square and have a bunch of Leaf statues out there just to kind of, because they're scared. Basketball is starting to beat their ass in popularity, honestly. Yeah. Let's see. Tom Duke's got the Raptor dunking, and David's saying, haha, think about it. How stupid is that? No, I like the idea of having a dunk contest, a dunk statue of Vince outside our arena. Yeah. Victor saying, David, what player has the jersey retired with Toronto? None of them do. Yeah, he's saying we're going to. The thing is that since Kyle and DeMar left our team, nobody's worn those two numbers. 10 and 7 are not available. Goran Dragic wanted to wear 7 here, but he wasn't allowed. And 10 is a very common number. Nobody has worn 10 in the 6 years since DeMar left. So, yeah, nobody's wearing these numbers. They're already retired. It's just we have to wait for these players to retire in their professional careers, Lowry and DeRozan. So, and that'll be it. Yeah, they're right there. 10 and 7. That's it, right there. Dana's saying, why is this person here? He's fine. He's not Milbester's sidekick. In some ways, Victor J, I have more respect for than Milbester. Milbester repeats himself too much, and he's not listening to what we're saying. Victor J's listening, so it's cool. Yeah, he's saying that's the player's name, 10 and 7. No, those are the numbers we're retiring. DeMar and Kyle. You got it now. Yeah, just read. DeMar and Kyle. Hello. All right, y'all give me a cutoff. I do have one more hour I can talk for you guys, so. All right, let me see. Where are we with there? Right, yeah. Yes, Victor. Their names are 10 and 7. You're right. All right, guys. Anyway, either way, Monique's saying, what's up, David? And they are on this channel. Okay. Let's see. David's saying they are not hanging in the rafters. It's not official. They are both still in the league. No one has worn their numbers since they left. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to explain too. Their numbers are retired, just not their jerseys yet. That's exactly right. Dunk for Tom. Yeah, all right. We'll give a dunk to Tommy and his great work that he does behind the scenes on this channel as the emoticon giant. There we go. 76. It's the year 76, Tom, dude. There you go. Dana's laughing. And Victor's saying, yes, Tobias might have dirt on every owner in the NBA. How he keeps getting huge deals is ludicrous. That's hilarious. He said he's got some dirt on different people in the league, and that's how he's getting the money. I don't get it. I mean, I get he's an all-around talent. I get that he can do different stuff, but it just seems like he's not trying certain times. And that why would Detroit do this? This is just a very bad management team by Detroit. They just changed Troy Weaver out, and they got the new people in there, and they're just as bad. They may be even worse, actually. Because honestly, I think it was really dumb that they fired Monty. But I bet you Monty probably came in and cussed them out and said, fire me. I want to go home. You got to pay me either way. Detroit's a mess. Detroit is not going to go anywhere for a while. And what's going to happen is Kate Cunningham's going to get upset. He's going to leave because they're not going to get anywhere. I've already heard Jaden Ivey does not want to be there either. Yeah. Let's see. Sixers being the first victim. Well, Tobias was on the Clippers before that. He's been on a few teams, David. We got to know our history if we're going to burn him. And that's not true. The Sixers are not his first victim. He's been on a few teams before he was on the Sixers, just so you know. Cowboys saying alley-oop to Uncle St. David for not swearing yet. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, we'll give David a dunk for being a trivia champion and commissioner. Let's see, 138 for David at this point. 138. Yeah. All right, next we've got thank you for being here. We are on here every single day, 9:30 a.m. talking Raptors, Team Canada basketball, and WNBA in Toronto, that kind of stuff. Ontario, Arkansas. I like it. All right, those are two different geographical places. But I'm guessing you're a person in Ontario that's a fan of Arkansas. That's cool. Razorbacks. Let's go. Corliss Williamson. Nickel Alexander Walker. RJ Barrett. Kem Birch. Dylan Brooks. Luquette Dort. Shea Gilgis Alexander. Mifandu Kabengele. Trey Lyles. Jamal Murray. Andrew Nebhart. Kelly Olynyk. And Dwight Powell. And that is your prediction for the final 12. So you're picking Kabengele over Melvin Ejim. And that's really kind of maybe the one place I disagree with your 12. But otherwise, I love it. That's a great lineup. That's a great lineup all around. The only reason why I say Melvin is because of the longevity in the program, the stability, and the knowledge and veteran leadership. In some ways, he really will be the last guy on the bench and may not play hardly at all. And he's a great guy for that. In some ways, he's a great locker room leader too. Now, Kabengele's young. And he doesn't have as much experience in learning and stuff. Now, if he played really good at training camp and he absolutely wowed Jordi Fernandez, he could make the team. But I feel like Kabengele's going to be the alternate, and then it's actually going to be Ejim in there. And we'll see. We'll see, though. You could be right, though. We'll have to see. Yeah. You think this is Alan Tam? Yeah. Where's the trophy? Yeah. It does seem like that is an Alan Tam quote, but this could be anybody, honestly. And welcome, Ontario, Arkansas. I hope I'll see you again in the chat in the days and weeks and months to come. Yeah, Cowboys got Darko on blast. I love it. David's saying, what you're saying about Nick is very true, Lex. It's his unwillingness to change and adapt with a league that sets him back. So happy to have Darko for the foreseeable future. It's just that, Nick is set in his ways in certain ways. His signature is that crazy, hectic defense. And, he got a different group of guys in Philly. So they are more offensive than some of our guys were in Toronto. So he has more of a balance. In some ways, he had a very defensive team in Toronto, and he's a very defensive-minded kind of coach. That was really heavy on that side, and our offense struggled. Well, having a gifted scorer like Maxey and having such an overwhelmingly powerful talent like Embiid, well, it's easier for him to balance the offense and the defense with Philadelphia. Yeah. Seymour saying DeRozan said he ain't playing with Giddey because he has a young daughter. Wow, that's deep. He will join Heat or Clippers. Lakers don't have a cap for him. All right, I'm going to say that is not true. That's a ridiculous, funny statement. It's not really funny, but he did not say that. He did not say that. And the whole thing with Josh Giddey is overblown. In some ways, that was just messed up, stupid stuff that people were kind of making a big deal out of, but it's actually not a huge deal. Because he was actually investigated for this, and he wasn't found criminally liable or any kind of way or any kind of thing. He's not leaving because of that. He's leaving because it has not worked in Chicago. Chicago's been all messed up because of Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball. And, well, DeMar has put in some good work with them. Bulls fans respect him and love him for what he has done in the years he's been there. And, honestly, they wouldn't be upset if he left either. So, in some ways, I want to see him get that childhood dream of playing for a Los Angeles team. I hope it's the Lakers, because in some ways that is the one he really does want to play for. But if he ends up playing for the Clippers and he's on the same team as Kawhi, that'll be really, really weird. Really weird. The other place that is talking about trying to get DeRozan, and hold your breath, is Miami, y'all. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes with DeMar. I just want him to be happy. That's all I care about. I love DeMar DeRozan. I just want him to be happy. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. He said, okay, hang on. He's saying, wow, that's deep. He will join the Heat or Clippers. Lakers don't have the cap for him. So Lakers don't have the room at this point because LeBron just closed it up with his deal that he just signed yesterday. 2 years. Yeah, 2 years for $50 million a year. Wow. Yeah, you really want to win? Why did you close it up? I knew you would do that for Clay, but you won't do that for DeMar. What's wrong with you, man? LeBron, you're just not being smart. You're greedy. You're greedy. Now, let's talk about Bronny's contract real quick. He's got 4-year contract as a 55th pick, and it's 3 years of it are guaranteed. It's kind of crazy. That's not normal. In some ways, his contract shouldn't be guaranteed. That is really kind of that's part of showing that he's getting favoritism. Is that a 55th pick? They're lucky to get a 2-way contract. They're lucky to get a non-guaranteed 2-year deal. He's getting a 4-year, 3-year guaranteed 1-year team option deal for 1.7 a year or something like that. Yeah, that's not a normal deal for a guy that gets drafted at that point in the thing. It's the guaranteed stuff that's not normal. The price is about normal, but the guarantees are not normal. Most saying for the final time, congratulations, Natalie Achona with Team Canada Women. What a run she's had. She's going to be retiring after this one. Yeah, but she still got to go, and she still got to play. So not congratulations yet, Mo. Let her finish her career with Team Canada at the end of the Olympics, and then we will say congratulations to her. Denal saying, what bothers me about the cap stuff is that you punish teams that do it the right way too, like the Warriors and Celtics. If we draft and build players up, it sucks. We have to let them go because of money later. I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's just, I like the parity. In some ways, I don't want established teams to just be top teams for long, long, long periods of time. I like the renewal. I like the refreshing. I like that we have new contenders all the time. In some ways, I really hated the Warriors in the 2010s. I've hated the Lakers in the 2000s. I've hated the Bulls in the 90s. And God forbid we ever have another decade like the 60s in the NBA. God forbid it forever, please. Yeah. So, no, I'll disagree with you, Denal. I like this. In some ways, this is good because we have an advantage because of this, Denal. Because we have a very smart, intelligent, very good front office. And that's not common. So this new cap structure could be really, really tough for certain teams that aren't managed well. And the Raptors have this as a strength for their franchise. So, no, we like this, that it's harder to manage things this way because we get creative. And, some of the moves that people don't get, why are we letting go of Siakam and Anunoby? Well, this is part of why. It's the foresight and the managing it and the renewal. of having to come in with new guys. And if you want to establish guys on your team for like long period of time, well, maybe only 1 or 2 or 3 guys that will hang around for a long, long time. It's just how it's got to be at this point. That's what Adam Silver wants. So I'll disagree with you on this, but I see your point. But yeah, I don't mind because we have one of the best front offices in the league. Milbester is here. So we got Knicks Nation here. So we've got 3 of the Atlantic Division teams represented in our stream today. He's saying, good morning, Lex. Happy Independence Day, July the 4th to USA. Greatest country on earth. Yeah, that's not true. To this day, I will always wonder why the 13 colonies didn't go to Canada, but England and France did. Wait, what are you saying? What? Why the 13 colonies didn't go to Canada, but England and France did? Well, I don't understand what you're saying, Milbester. I don't know if you understand North American history. You know, there were French settlements here in Canada. We had French people up here, and that's why they had that War of 1812 was between the British and the French here in Toronto. That's why Fort York was built. And we held them off. And then we marched down to the United States into Washington, D.C., and we burned down the White House. That's a little bit of like American history people don't like to talk about, that the French Canadians, the Canadian and natives up here, we went and burned down the White House. I'll go ahead and say that on Independence Day. Once again, America is not the greatest country in the earth. I would say Japan is. I would say Japan is the best country on earth right now. Maybe one of the Scandinavian countries is second. America on the rankings for greatness is falling out of the top 25, to be honest, because there's fascism approaching, Milbester. So you better vote for Joe Biden. So if you want to make sure that your country continues to be, you can say that, but it's absolutely not true. You guys have school shootings like you're a third world country. You can't send your children to school without worrying about that. You've got a really crazy Supreme Court now that is absolutely not democratic and is really, really turning into some crazy fundamentalist board that's outlawing abortion and taking away freedoms. You have a corporate overlord oligarchy system that is not democracy at this point. And if you want to go ahead and say that it's the greatest country on earth, you're absolutely lying. You're absolutely lying. The only thing you can say that and say that to yourself in your face in the mirror, but you're lying to yourself when you do that. I won't even say Canada is the greatest country in the world because it isn't. And the United States is damn for sure not either. Yeah, Japan is. I'll say that right now. Japan's the best country in the world. I'll say that right now. Yeah, Victor J saying, if Vince didn't say anything negative about Toronto years after and talked embracing the city, could you overlook and happen with Vince as a player? Yes. And the good example of this is Tracy McGrady. I love Tracy McGrady. I've forgiven Tracy McGrady. I have no problem with Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady left Toronto in a weird way because they told him he couldn't coexist and be famous and have all the spotlight with Vince around overshadowing him. That was a lie. And this was before in the NBA, the superstar system that came around with the Celtics when they got Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, and then the Heat with LeBron and those guys. This is the thing. Tracy McGrady to this day regrets going to Orlando from Toronto because he realizes he may have had a championship with Toronto with his cousin if he tried to stay here and work with Vince. He has come out in a book and talked about when he was a younger player that he regrets being so rash with his decision to leave our city. So I have all respect for him because he's come around and understood where he may have left something on the table, the possibilities of playing alongside his cousin. So that's a great example right there. McGrady has done stuff. Now, McGrady hasn't come up to Toronto and been an alumni or waved to the crowd very much. He would be fine. In some ways, he got booed a lot when he left here. We hated him when he left. He got a lot of crap from Canadian fans when he went to Orlando. And he did burn us in games just like his cousin Vince did when he got to New Jersey. So he's a good example of coming back. Now, the problem is Vince is a broadcaster. And he's on ESPN, and he's done broadcasting while he was a player even, and he put down Toronto and said all kinds of shade, put shade on us all the time. And this is supposed to be our icon. This is supposed to be the guy that we're supposed to celebrate and say he's like one of the greatest Raptors of all time. No, he disrespects our team. He talks bad about our country. So fuck him. That's what I say right there. So yeah, that's the difference right there, Victor J. Look at how I feel about Tracy McGrady. And then look at how I feel about Vince Carter. Tracy McGrady circled back and he said other things. Another guy that's weird in this situation is Chris Bosh. He's persona non grata to me. I don't talk about Chris Bosh on this channel. I should. He's a franchise face from our history. He was a very important Raptor in our history, but I don't give a shit about Chris Bosh. In some ways, he hasn't sullied our team or said stuff, but he doesn't care about our team either. He's Heat Nation. He's a Heat champion. He's a Hall of Famer as a Heat player. And in some ways, he turned his back on us. Well, I don't have to cover him. I don't have to do Chris Bosh days or talk about Chris Bosh overly because he did that the way he did it. So, that's where I'm at with those kind of guys. I don't hate Chris Bosh, though. I'm just in a place where, I don't celebrate you. In some ways, your part, our history, it was a sad, pathetic time where we lost a lot. And yeah, I get it. You wanted to go an easy route and get some championships with LeBron in Miami. Whatever. That's the kind of way it is right there. Cowboys saying, oh, Canada. That's right. Trevor's saying, I saw a video circling around of a guy getting arrested for eating in public at the train station. That's crazy and messed up. That's what I'm saying. Fascism is othering people. And first they'll other immigrants. They'll say, oh, the immigrants are coming here and they're taking your jobs and all this stuff. They want people to prey on their fears. They want you to feel afraid that somebody's coming to take your job or coming to take your life. No, these are just people that just want their own life. They have nothing to do with you. And, that's how fascism breeds, is they make people that are afraid of other people that are different than them, whether it's trans people, whether it's homeless people, whether it's Mexican people, whatever, and they make them less human. And then they feel like everybody can subjugate them. And a homeless person eating in a train station, getting arrested for just trying to eat something, that is messed up. And we're going towards more and more 1984 totalitarian dystopia. And y'all need to understand this. If you don't understand the words I just said, go look them up because it's very heavy shit. It's George Orwell shit. And if they're picking up a homeless guy for eating a sandwich in a train station, well, that's just the beginning of it. There's going to be even worse. And when they come for one group, they come for more. That was the way of the Nazis. And they'll do it in this country if you let Trump have power this fall. Seriously. They've already said they will. They're going to come with that Project 2025. They're going to come and get all the immigrants in the country, and they're going to try and ship them out. Some people say, that's great. I want that. No, that's full of hate, and that weakens your country. In some ways, you need the labor because they're doing jobs that nobody else wants to do. In some ways, you need the enrichment and diversity in your country because you're stronger with diversity. I know that living in Toronto, being one of the most diverse cities in the whole entire world. That Toronto is very strong because we have people from all walks of life, from all kinds of places, with all kinds of strengths. USA, you want to homogenize yourself, make you all the same? Well, you're going to weak as fuck. And I see monoculture in a yard. That ain't no good. You need biodiversity out there. That's right. That's what I'll say right there. Man, we're getting a little heavy today, but it is the 4th of July. And I do feel like having some criticism for our neighbors to the north is what I'm saying right here. Yeah. Blackhawk is here. Good to see Neil. I have been there from the beginning with Vince Carter. However, I'm not carrying anger for any man. What's done is done. Mistakes were made by everyone. It is their lessons to learn. That's great, Neil. And I know there's a lot of people that have been there from the start with me that don't feel the same way as me. But in some ways, I felt it really personally because I was in the arena. I was working for the Raptors at that time. And I saw the change and I saw what happened. I see the pain in Alvin Williams' face post Vince Carter on the Raptors. In some ways, that infuriated me. It infuriated me when he came back with Jason Kidd and Richard Jefferson and put us out in the playoffs and gleefully smiled as we booed the hell out of him. Yeah, no, that kind of stuff pisses me off. And in some ways, he's never actually respected the Toronto Raptors franchise. And that is why. Why should I respect somebody who doesn't respect us? That's what I would say right there. Now, I don't mind. You guys can love Vince and really appreciate him and love his highlight dunks. But there's not enough people talking about the ugly side of him and the parts of this. I have not heard him outright say anything. Like, it's kind of not even apologizing. It's just like he doesn't even think he did anything wrong. His mom was a big problem, too, for our franchise, too. Busybody, involved with way too much. And in some ways, she was toxic and a huge problem for the Raptors also. So, yeah. Let's see. David's saying you're wise. And Victor's saying, Seymour, just in 2023, the NBA All-Star game in Utah, the league celebrated Karl Malone all weekend. I know that was really tone deaf. They put him in front and center. So how much does the NBA actually care about underage relationships? This is a fantastic comment by Victor J. And this is something that all sports leagues need to take into account. Recently, Kevin Porter Jr. was signed to the Clippers. And Josh Primo's around. And there's these guys that have really bad, disgusting things they did. Now, they'll go after Jonte Porter like they did for the gambling. In some ways, they need to be going after people for abuse towards women a little bit more strongly. In some ways, it's the misogyny of sports and male athletes saying, yeah, women are just toys, sexual toys. And there's all kinds of really, really bad behavior that goes on that gets swept under the rug. And, Peyton Manning has this kind of shit from his Tennessee days. And that's what I'm saying. In some ways, you're right. That Utah stuff is gross. It was very cringe, them celebrating Karl Malone. Karl Malone is really a disgusting person. And I mean, seriously, what do you care about Adam Silver? You say that what Jonte did is an unforgivable sin. Well, what is the point where is some NBA player going to have to kill his girlfriend by accident or something because he beat her up so bad? Like, what is it? What is the point where you're going to be like, yeah, we need to do more about domestic violence or violence towards women with athletes in general? I'm not even just say the NBA. I'm going to say all the leagues, all the professional leagues, and how you deal with this. In some ways, they are like, we don't mind if you have a rape case, Jameis Winston. We don't care if you beat up your girlfriend in an elevator and the fucking camera got it all, Ray Rice. It's that kind of shit that I'm talking about, that these sports leagues don't give a shit about, and they should. They very much should, right there. Kevin Porter Jr. signed by the Clippers this week. There you go, right there. Yeah, Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. And Miles Bridges is a great example of a problem in the NBA right now. Yeah, morning, fam. Happy Thursday. I want to salute Tom Duke, who's been holding it down with the stream. Hard to keep up. It's currently 7:30 in the morning. It's messing me up as I'm missing great conversation. See, she's in the mountain zone in Alberta, and she's not used to it because she's usually out over near Montreal, Ottawa. And she's seeing how it's a grind for Tom every single day out in BC, being on our channel at 9:30 every morning. He's at 6:30 every morning. So yeah, she's feeling it. The early mornings, starting a 7:30 stream. Yikes. Fiercey, I'm going to give you a dunk and Tommy just for that. All right, let's see. Where's Fiercey? Eye Candy gets 137. And then Tommy is getting, whoa, I don't like it when it does that. All right, fix it. There it is. And Tommy's getting 1 too. And Tommy's at 77. You got the Luka Doncic there, Tom Duke. Luka, you got the Luka number. All right, let's see. Michael Boland is here. Good to see Michael, a great Raptor freak, longtime supporter of this channel. We appreciate your return, Michael. I was upset with Vince for many years after the trade, but I think a lot of the heat on him was because the trade GM Babcock made was terrible. So terrible he never was a GM anywhere again. Yeah, and sadly passed away within years of that too, which is crazy. Yeah, the Babcock family, they were a couple of guys that were GMs in the league. Pete Babcock was another GM in the league at that time, I think for Atlanta. And we had Rob, and Rob was horrible. That deal was such a disaster. Such a disaster. You send Vince Carter to the Nets, and you get Alonzo Mourning, Aaron Williams, Eric Williams, and some other player I don't even remember. And Alonzo refuses to report. So fuck you, Alonzo Mourning. Yeah, I'll say that. Everybody who loves Alonzo Mourning, fuck him, that fucking big goof piece of shit Georgetown motherfucker. Yeah, fuck you, Alonzo Mourning. I will say that. And so we didn't really get anything. We got two guys named Williams. Aaron Williams, a center, and then Eric Williams, a journeyman like swing that were not very good. But this is true. Michael, this is part of the whole thing with it. But I'm talking about the whole thing. I'm talking about not just the bad GMing of Rob Babcock. I'm talking about the gleeful coming back and revenge on us with the Nets, putting us out in the playoffs, and also the repeated, he does Sam Mitchell stuff. Let's just put it that way. Sam Mitchell covers the Raptors and Canada. He talks to Canadians a certain way. He covers the NBA in the United States. He talks about it in a totally different way, Sam Mitchell. And Vince is the same. He's exactly the same. I've heard him cover Raptors games down south, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's totally negging us. He has no respect for the team that actually put him on the map. That's the thing that pisses me off. It's like Vince can play for 10 different teams his whole entire career, but the one that matters to him should be the Raptors because we made him who he is in some ways also. In some ways, if he didn't have the platform of being Air Canada, he would have just been another American guy that could dunk. But because he was on the Raptors and he elevated our franchise, in some ways he needed us just as much as we needed him. And that's the thing. He doesn't have no Air Canada effect without Canada. And some people conveniently forget about that, including Vince. So it's like, for a while, it seemed like he was more Hawks Nation. It seems like he's more Orlando Nation. Obviously, he in his life today, he's more Nets Nation, honestly. So when I heard him say, I want to go in the Hall of Fame this year as a Raptor, this is actually something that made me kind of like him more. Because honestly, he does need to go in the – if he went in the Hall of Fame for anything else, he didn't win a championship with anybody. He did his most important things in the NBA as a Raptor, and that was at the beginning of his career. Rookie of the Year, dunk champion. The playoff stuff he did with us was more important with us than any other playoff shit he did later. He went to the finals with the Nets once and lost to the Lakers. Yeah, he didn't do jack shit in his career as far as winning. He had longevity, and he had an amazing dunking career in Toronto. And yeah, that's it right there. I don't know. It's tough, man. Michael, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. I'm looking at it from everything. Cowboys saying alley-oop to Granny Swag for making those awesome shirts. Yeah, you guys like my Raptors Freak shirt. Evelyn made it for us, and I don't sell these guys. So don't think that I'm trying to make money off of the Raptors logo. I am not. I give these to good Raptor Freaks when they come to the hangout. I paid for them, and I'm giving them to y'all for free. If you came to a Raptor Freak hangout and we have shirts, you get one of these for free, because you made the effort to come down and hang out with us. So that's what this shirt is all about. And a lot of the people on this channel that have come to our hangouts have this shirt at their house. So yeah, I appreciate Evelyn for having, she didn't even tell me she's going to do this. She just showed up at one of the hangouts and she said, Lex, I made these shirts and I want you to have them. And I was like, Evelyn, that's too kind. And I gave her money for them. She didn't just give them to me. I actually did give her some money for them. And I gave them out to everybody else and didn't take a single dime. So don't you come at me, Raptors, because I have this on here, because I ain't making no money off shirts. This is just a Raptor shirt. And if you're in, you're in. You got one. That's it. That's right. Victor J saying Kevin Johnson did some disgusting things, if you know the story, and Sacramento made him mayor. I know. He's another one. You know, it's interesting because the NBA forgets Kevin Johnson. They in some ways, they're trying to forget Karl Malone, but that kid, the guy who owns the Jazz, wanted to put him on blast with their All-Star weekend. That fun guy. He looks like the dog from The Simpsons, the cool dog with the hat backwards. That's the owner of the Jazz to me. That guy. He's like the dog on The Simpsons that Bart looks up to, right? He watches a cartoon. He skateboards the dog with the backwards hat and the sunglasses. You know who I'm talking about. That's the owner of the Jazz to me. But yeah, Kevin Johnson, another deplorable. Somebody that did some really nasty kind of pedophile things, and he ended up becoming the mayor of his hometown in Sacramento. Yeah, they don't talk about him around the NBA. Now, Phoenix honors him still. He's in their circle of honor or whatever, and he was so important to the NBA when he played. He really was one of the stars, and he was very much fun to watch when he played for the Suns. But it's really sad to find out the stuff about him later. Really, really sad. Yeah, Cowboys laughing at Fiercey. Fiercey said, as I don't follow other content creators, I'm sincerely grateful for the Facebook chat as it keeps me up to date. Thank you for that platform, Lex. No, it's great. And this is one of the great things. If you do join my channel as a member, you get access to a crazy good Facebook chat in which we get to talk. We share everything. Monique, the superfan Lawrence, is a machine. She just is sponge. Absorbing all the Raptors information, Team Canada information, WNBA information, Hoop Queens, everything. Monica's on it. Trevor J is constantly in there dropping the latest news from the NBA, and I'm in there sharing what I find interesting too. So if you want like a minute by minute up to date, and you don't have to go look at the site yourself, it all comes to you when you're a part of our Raptor Freak Facebook chat, and you get access to it if you join the channel. And there's very reasonable different tiers of on the channel as far as like monthly membership. So yeah, there are membership privileges for sure. And I appreciate what you're saying there because Fiercey, there's a lot these days. And in some ways, look, you want to know what is actual content and what is just perception and bullshit and opining and stuff like that. And some people are just putting shit out like trade speculation, like YouTube clips and all kinds of bullshit. In some ways, you want real good stuff. You want meat. You want something that has actually something that's informative or something that's like worthwhile. Because there's a lot of people that just do the same shit on YouTube. I'm very different than all that. Yeah, you can tell because I do 2 hours too, and I'm live, and I have no net. Luca Rosano, you get live. He's gonna be reading this, and then he's gonna have to think about it, and then he's gonna say what he's gonna say. No, I'm that instant. I'm like that. I'll read it. And I'll react immediately. That's right. David saying, Vince said, I don't want to dunk anymore. So as a tribute to Vince, we build a statue of him dunking. I love it. Well, that's what he's known for. I mean, I get your logic in this, but in some ways, not anybody's going to think about it that way. In that quote, that quote gets forgotten. Yeah, it was messed up what he did. It is what it is. Victor saying, with all the Knicks moves, what percentage do you give them to get the finals? I've been saying this, and I told Milbester this in the last week. They fucked up. Victor J. You're going to like what I'm going to say about this. The Knicks were set up going into the playoffs this year with the right personalities on their team. They had it right. It's like, don't break it. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. It was not broken. They did a really great run. If they had had health, some of the guys that were missing, they could have won the championship. I'm not lying. I think they could have beat the Celtics if they had been healthy. But what did they do? They went and got greedy. And they decided, we really want to complete the set of our China set. We got to get that Mikal Bridges. That is going to fuck up their whole chemistry. And they think that they got it better, but they didn't. Watch. They're going to come back next year, and their offensive rebounding is going to be worse this year. Because, first of all, Mitchell Robinson can't stay healthy. And now Isaiah Hartenstein's wearing a Thunder jersey. Yeah, if they think OG's going to play center for them, they're fucking stupid. Because we tried that here in Toronto, and it's not a good look. Trust me. It's going to negate him. He's not going to be as good for them, and they're going to lose more this year. So I think it's fool's gold what Knickerbockers fans are thinking right now. That they think just because they got Bridges and they got the full Voltron set of fucking Villanova Wildcats, they're going to be good. That's so stupid. You guys fucked your team up just to fucking make a set of Wildcats. It's so stupid. It wasn't broken. You should have just ran it back with who you had and let your guys get healthy. You would have been fine. But now you went a step too far and you fucked up your chemistry. That's what I'm predicting right now, Victor J, that the Knicks are going to be worse next year. They're not going to have the offensive rebounding without Hartenstein. And they're going to realize they fucked up by getting Mikal Bridges over time. Watch. Yeah, you like that prediction, don't you, Sixer fan? Yeah, and Milbester doesn't. No, he doesn't. Fiercey saying, Cowboy, it's rough. I'm glad I get at the end, but it's not the same when you watch after the fact. You can't complain and engage. I can only do hand gestures. Fiercey's so funny. Cool Cat's here. Good to see the coach. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. Joining late, no problem. I'm always glad to see the ladies show up. Good to see Cool Cat and Fiercey as always. And Monique. And she's saying W streams, W vibes. Keep at it always. Good times approaching. Good times are here for Go Raptors for life. Raptor Freak family crew strong forever. Cut me off. Thank you, director Monique Lawrence, telling me my cutoff. And, well, I've got 24 minutes, so I will get the rest of the comments in. We'll be done. David saying, Victor, I honestly have no idea. I'm not sure how that team fits together. Very different than last year. Well, they're going to be depleted at center. And Milbester has been scrambling on our channel trying to say, well, we'll get Mo Bamba. No, we'll get Mo Wagner. We're just going to get a replacement for Isaiah Hartenstein. They're running out. They're not on the market anymore. All the centers are getting snapped up and going to different places. New York will be undersized once again, and it will really hurt them this year, especially in the league of Wemby. As the rise of Wemby continues to come, teams that do not get the center position respectfully filled, they will pay. They will pay dearly. And New York is set up for that this season. Watch. Because they didn't respect their centers. They didn't respect iHeart. And they didn't make him a priority. They got all big in their eyes. Oh, we could get Mikal. We're going to do this. The other thing is they did this with their cap. They're not going to be able to change. So they're ensconced in this group. And this is going to be the classic New York thing where they're like, oh, fuck, we did this, but we're not winning. And we can't do anything because our cap's all filled up now with Bridges and Anunoby. And Philly fan will be laughing with me when he sees this happen to New York this year. Seriously. Yeah. Let's see. Cool Cat saying we need height as much as possible. Yep. The League of Wemby is here. Chet Holmgren is here. Oliver Ryu is coming, y'all. 7'9". Fiercey saying one thing I must say, Lex, most of the recent offseason moves clearly indicate it's all business. Yeah. Some decisions are so wild to me. And as a player, I would question why I'm joining a losing team. Well, that's the thing. In some ways, that is part of the balancing about your options as a player. Is this team going to contend? Or am I going to get paid a lot of money to be on a team where I have to just sit through losing? In some ways, that is part of it. You know, that is part of the problem with some ways with us getting free agents this summer. The perception is we're not going to be very good. Some people may not trust us to be good, and they're less likely to sign with us because of that. Garrett Temple gets it. He re-signed with us. He's the free agent signing for the Raptors so far, but we'll see if another name gets added like Gary Trent Jr. or even Precious Achiuwa. That would be very interesting if Precious circled back and he was on the Raptors again. I think that would be very good for us, Masai. if you could get Precious to come back. If he's not going to be a part of New York's plans and he's on the market and he's out there, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. David saying, who is a losing team? The Raptors surely ain't. Who are you talking about? Well, once again, the NBA media machine, ESPN, are trying to perceive and project us to be a really bad team. I don't believe it's true either, like David. But the public perception right now is the Raptors will be a very bad team and a lottery team this season. I don't know if that's true. I think if we're healthy, we got Jakob and Scotty in the lineup, we can beat anybody in this league. And it's just going to take a barbecue gelling, Barrett, Barnes, and quickly, and we're going to be good. We're going to be good. We're going to be good. Yeah. Yeah. Ontario, Arkansas is saying, I actually agree with you, to be honest, about Ejim, only because he plays the wing. And for reasons you said, Birch and Cavangeli both play the forward big position, right? So it makes sense. Yeah. And I mean, if Zach's not there, we've got Trey Lyles, we've got Kem Birch, we've got Dwight Powell. I'm thinking about the bigs that we've got. And, Powell really did a good job at the center position last summer because Zach was really the bench center. He did not play major minutes in FIBA World Cup. So everybody raising the alarm about Zach Edey coming out of the Team Canada to go play for Memphis in Summer League. Don't worry about this so much. He's so young, and his contributions last summer were not major contributions. He really was like our backup center, bring him in at the end of the game, like Boban kind of guy for FIBA World Cup. He's young. He's got a lot of time to play for Canada in international competition. But yeah, Melvin Ejim, he's got a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience playing against all these FIBA players. And NBA fans don't know who Melvin Ejim is. They may disrespect him. They may think he's like, oh, I don't know who this guy is. Why should I respect him? Well, in some ways, people in Canada basketball respect Melvin Ejim very deeply because in some ways, he's been the guy, kind of the anchor that's been holding that program together for like 10 years. Him and Kelly Olynyk and Corey Joseph before that were kind of the guys. Yeah, kind of the guys. But Ontario, Arkansas, appreciate your presence here. I hope you keep coming back. This is the great thing. We're trying to be a positive space for Raptors fans in a very negative world with the NBA trying to gauge perception about us in a very negative way. Well, I want to look at it realistically and talk from our side. If there's spin in this world, well, I'm spinning for the Raptors. And that's what this channel is all about. A positive place for Raptors fans who really love the team and really don't want to just neg them or gaslight them as fans. There's a lot of people doing this. In fact, I'm going to call somebody out right now. It's an Instagram account called 306 Raptors. There's a content creator out in Saskatchewan, a Western Canadian guy, who thinks that he knows the Raptors, but he doesn't know jack shit. He's out there making graphics, and he calls himself a content creator. So he's just making all this stuff, but his comments are negging the Raptors, gaslighting them, saying on the down low, not very positive things. In some ways, if you follow 306 Raptors, tell them fuck you from the Raptors Freak. Because honestly, I don't have time for content creators that aren't really fans. In fact, I will guess this Saskatchewan guy who's doing this is actually more of a hockey fan or something. In some ways, he probably comes to basketball from another direction because he is not respecting the Raptors franchise in his posts. And you can go and look at what he's saying in the captions, and you'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? And why is he dissing our team if he's such a Raptors fan? 306 Raptors, you're on notice. Fuck you, motherfucker. That's what I'll say right there. Yeah. Fiercely saying, I believe we will get the final roster for Team Canada tomorrow. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They should have figured it out by Friday, and that they'll be going to Vegas shortly after that to get ready to play the United States in the friendly next week. And I will be watching that game live on this channel, doing play-by-play during the game. So if you guys have wondered what I would be like calling a game, well, you get to see it when Team Canada takes the court. Every single Team Canada game where that team shows up, I will be doing calls, live streaming on this channel. So you can listen to me if you don't feel like listening to Dan Schulman and Megan McPeak. Yeah, you can listen to me instead if you want to hear me do the color commentating and the play-by-play. Yeah, I'll be doing both. That's right. David saying Mobo has agreed to a 3-year deal with the Raptors. All right, I'm going to go to Instagram, to Twitter, and I'm going to see where that is real quick. Let's see what the Mobo news is exactly. Let me write his name in, and then I can see the exact deal. Jonathan Mobo. Okay, 3-year deal. What is the number? Did they say? It's a $6.11 million deal. 3 years so he's making $2 million a year. Scotty's so happy for his friend. I'm going to tell you that right now. In some ways, Scotty, he doesn't care about himself. He's very giving. And in some ways, his accolades, his ego is not for himself. It's for the people he loves. whether it's mother, whether it's his siblings, whether it's his teammates. And well, one of his best friends in the whole entire world is Jonathan Mobo, his best friend since 4th grade. And I mean, the day that he just had today, Jonathan Mobo just signed an NBA contract for $6 million for 3 years. Scotty's beaming. He's beaming like a proud best friend right now. I'm going to tell you that right now. Some ways the vibes that Scotty's going to get, the motivation. You know how it is when you're playing with a friend, how much looser and fun you get, how the vibes are just so like immaculate, like flowing. You know, it's just like fun. It's like the job is so fun. And having Jonathan on the team is maybe going to bring out a new side of Scott that is going to be very interesting this year. We saw Scotty make a leap last season as a player to become an all-star. I'm telling you, there's more stair steps for him to climb. Last year is not the ceiling. And in some ways, Jonathan being in the team roster, it may stimulate Scotty to a new level of kind of excellence and play with his teammates, because there's this buddy who was 5'9" in high school who shot up to 6'8" now, Jonathan Mobo, standing next to him on the court. That's what I'm saying, man. That's the thing I'm telling you. Do not underestimate what is going to happen, the synergy, because Jonathan's on our team. I'm telling you right now. Great job by Masai. Definitely a Cowboy. Definitely. 3 years, 6.1. Okay, you wrote it in here. I went and looked it up just to see. Smooth saying, Lakers drafted Bronny because of all the hype of his father and son playing together. That's it. He's not an NBA guy. We'll have to see how it goes. In some ways, I shot my shot on my Bronny opinions yesterday, and I don't want to keep hyping up and talking about Bron and Bronny too much. We're going to get enough of that. Trust me, this season. There's going to be more than enough talking heads talking about Bron and Bronny way too much this year. And in some ways, I want to limit talking about them to when maybe the Raptors are actually playing the Lakers. Then I may talk about them. But otherwise, I don't give a shit about the circus that's about to start with the James gang in LA. I do not. No, I don't. Monique saying, fiercely, the Facebook chat was Lex. And I thought thoughtful thinking. Yeah, you know, I had the idea because we wanted to do a Discord at first, but I could not figure out that site. Tommy was really trying to get a Discord together for us. But I was like, you know what? I'm on Facebook. Let's just do Facebook and just have our own private group that only we can see. And there's very few people in there that have access to this chat. So you want that pipeline of information. Oh my gosh, 24/7. We're not doing too much in the middle of the night. But there's posts right up until like 1 a.m. and right from the start in the morning. So it's a very good information stream for sure. Ontario saying, I just feel as though Rowan and Jordy know we need to develop the younger guys, and Ejim and Birch are both 31 and 33. Cabangeli is only 26. He's also the best shooter out of the three of them. That's an interesting point, and I think you're right. But then again, let's look at what the other teams going to Paris are doing. The U.S. in particular. They are going with all their older guys. In fact, they've snubbed a lot of the younger superstars just to let the last hurrah for their older vets. So in some ways, if the USA is going to be our main rival and our main competition to get gold in Paris, we may want to go vet this time. The young guys were there in camp. Shaden Sharp, Ben Mathurin, Leonard Miller. And they will be involved in the future. But it may be that this is the last hurrah of LeBron, Kevin, Steph, and all those guys being on the Olympics. We need to match them with the veteran know-how, just in case. So I would make that argument. Maybe Cabangeli would not be good in that respect, is what I'm saying. So, but I see what you're saying, and I don't know how good Cabangeli's shooting, but I don't know. You may be right. I don't know. Birch doesn't really have an outside shot, and neither does Ejim. And Cabangeli does have an outside shot. So that is an advantage for him, for sure. For sure. And now Birch does shoot threes. He's like a 50% three-point shooter, but they're not going to happen very often. That's the thing. Kareem's here. Good to see Kareem full ass. It's a complete crap. Thank goodness for Bronny's contract. He probably had more in his bank account. Hopefully he can buy his mom a house. Not only do the rich get richer, but also fed with a silver spoon. Yeah, that's the way the system in the United States is. It's not broken. It's exactly working the way they want it to. Funnel all money from working class people up to very rich billionaires. It's just the way of the United States. That's not a great country. That's not a great country. Everybody should have a chance to have a decent life. And the rich, greedy-ass motherfuckers at the top controlling the laws, controlling the Supreme Court, controlling the president, controlling all that kind of shit are oligarchs, and they're continuing to steal wealth from the working class and put it into their bank accounts offshore and hide it away from everybody. There's no reason for the extreme wealth increases for Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, all those motherfuckers. It's obscene. And in some ways, they don't need that amount of money ever for the rest of their life. So wealth tax is absolutely necessary for democracy to survive in the United States. And I say that on the 4th of July, right there. Bam, boom, goes the dynamite. There you go. Fiercely saying it, Raptors superfan Mo, is a great initiative. Thank you again. I'm really glad it's worked out really well. And I'm glad the people that value it are really getting a lot from it, for sure. You're busy on your travels right now, and you want to be up to date, and you don't want to go search all the websites and find it. Boom. She can check our Facebook chat, and she knows what's going on, even when she's on vacation. And that's fantastic. That's fantastic right there. Kareem saying, would like a Vince statue where you see him pointing in the air like he did after the dunk. But what he's pointing at is a championship banner, something that he doesn't have. Well, I don't want the statue in the arena. In some ways, you can't really do that. But I like that idea. In some ways, I like that little Vince like kind of thing where he did like the arrow kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. You could even do him doing it's over. It's over. I don't know. I think the dunk has to be part of it. But who knows? I'll bet you Masai said this. They're going to honor him, but it's a surprise, and he's not going to tell us what they're doing. Well, hopefully it is one of these statues. Seriously, Masai, just make the statue. It's better than the jersey, and you won't have grief from me if you, and other fans that are like me, anti-Vince people. If you retire his jersey, I'm going to be pissed. Seriously, I'm going to be pissed because Lowry deserves to have his jersey retired first, or even DeMar. That's right. Yeah, there you go. Smooth saying something he doesn't have. I like that, Kareem. I'm going to give you a dunk for that. I just read that last part right there. That's pretty good. All right, Kareem Thomas, 180. 180. Our dunk leader is up to 180. That is the high point right now. Let's see. And Dave is laughing. Smooth saying, prior to Joe Biden becoming president, he was considered a Democrat Republican. He was respected for his ability to speak on both sides of the divide. He's been in politics since 1970. Yeah, he's not really that left. He very much is centrist and even leaning towards right. And that's the crazy thing, that things have gone so bad in the last few years with Trump, before that W. Bush, that we really got to this point where America is very, very, very right wing and becoming, like I said, more fascist and more totalitarian. And it's very scary. It's not like Biden is perfect or anything. In some ways, he is. I have problems with him, with the war in Israel and different things like that. But he's the best alternative between only two choices. That's just what everybody has to understand. And Joe Biden has played both sides. But the thing is, today's political world in the U.S. does not work on both sides anymore. There's very obstructionist from the right-wing side. And Biden has to use all of his talents from his very, very long political career and all of his favors and all of his relationships to get anything through. And honestly, the fact that the other side is so obstructionist, the fact that Biden got the Better Jobs program through, and some of the other things like the anti-monopoly legislation, and also he's been very friendly to unions, Joe Biden. That is all really good stuff. So he's still accomplishing things, even though the other side is like very much not trying to cooperate with him. There used to be a gentleman's agreement between the two sides that we'll work with you on some things if you work with some things on us, but it's not even like that anymore. And that's why the government in the United States is broken. And that's why nothing is getting done correctly, because they waste so much taxpayer money just arguing and holding things up. If y'all really don't like the government spending your tax money, wasting it, well, you should hate the Republicans, because they absolutely waste money left and right, and we don't get anything done because they're just like that kid that says no, 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 no. Yeah, that's the damn truth about it right there. Right there. Smooth saying he was a beloved figure in U.S. politics. It saddens me how Trump is attacking him for being aged. Yeah, some of this is ageism. Some of this is really dumb, like debate structure. Really circus. In some ways, it's also maybe there should be an age limit on how old somebody can be to run, honestly. Because honestly, if there's people are too young, they're inexperienced, they can't run. Well, older people that really are not as swift as they used to be should not be running also. I agree with this. And honestly, Trump has no scruples. He has no morals. He will go with the lowest denominator, whatever will help him. He is so fucked up. Seriously, Donald Trump is so fucked up. He really is. We need to reject him as a country in the United States this year. We really, really do. Mischief saying, good morning, Lex and Raptor Freaks. I didn't know former Raptor players talking bad about the Raptors. What's that? He said, I didn't know former Raptors players talk bad about the Raptors. Yeah. Rudy Gay's the recent one that came out and said some bullshit. And now he's persona non grata as a Raptors alumni in my book. You know, he's most famous for Masai's great trade of trading him to Sacramento for 4 great players. But Rudy Gay came out and said, why would I ever want to be traded to the Raptors? Ha ha ha, and started laughing on a podcast. Yeah, fuck you, Rudy Gay. You're dead to us. Is that really a great way to live your life? In some ways, we would have maybe celebrated you up in Canada after you retired or something like that. But no, we don't give a shit about you. You suck. And in some ways, I love Grievous Vasquez, Chuck Hayes, John Salmons, and Patrick Patterson way better than you. And that trade was actually a catalyst towards our championship. So great. You're a footnote, Rudy Gay. You are a footnote. You are the beginning and the catalyst of the Raptors championship. Thank you, Rudy Gay. Thank you. You sorry little bitch. Yeah, there you go. Mischief, good to see you, baseman. David saying, yes, sir. Focused on the now. That's right. Smooth saying, what is happening in the U.S. worries me a great deal. It feels like a throwback to Germany pre-1939. It's scary. No, the parallels between Germany 100 years ago and right now, you just take Hitler out of the picture and put Trump in that spot, is exactly the same. He's using all the same tricks that Hitler used. He persecuted the Jews. Well, Trump is picking different specific groups to persecute, whether it's trans people, whether it's immigrants. And that is the same playbook as Hitler in Nazi Germany. So wake up, Americans. If you believe Nazism and what happened in the Second World War and everything that happened in that kind of thing, the Holocaust was wrong, well, y'all are moving towards your own kind of Holocaust. Whether you know, the Holocaust of Palestinian people right now is pretty fucked up. And then the Holocaust on American soil of poor people, the Holocaust of immigrants, and the Holocaust of gay and lesbian LGBTQ groups also. That's what I'm saying right now. They need to other somebody else, make you afraid of them, and that's the playbook of a fascist dictator like Hitler or Trump. And it's the same thing 100 years later, history repeating itself, and people are too dumb to realize that Trump is like Hitler. He really is. People think that, oh, you're fucking, that's crazy what you're saying. No, open your damn eyes, and you will see what I'm saying is true. That's right. Michael saying, I suggest you watch the VC podcast responding to Chris Broussard's. Hang on, I want to make sure I read this correctly. Oh, man, I jumped ahead. I want to see where I'm at. I want to make sure I don't miss this. All right, Michael's saying, I jumped again. Why does it keep jumping right when I'm about to read Michael? All right, I suggest you watch VC's podcast responding to Chris Broussard's comments on Toronto from a few years ago. He said many nice things about Toronto. Yeah, I did see that. And that was the other thing with him saying he wants to go in the Hall as a Raptor that kind of made me start to like him a little better. But see, he wasn't doing anything different than Tracy did it too at that time. Tracy McGrady did the same thing. There were a lot of former Raptors that came out of the woodworks and stood up for Canada and Toronto against Chris Broussard when he said that. So I don't see him as being any special. But you've got to understand, as much as he did that, Michael, in the years leading up to this, he talked about how cold it was in Toronto and kept the perception up of nobody wants to go to Toronto for most of his broadcasting career. So he can say that he's standing up against Chris, but also at the same time, I heard him down in the States on American broadcast saying, yeah, it's really cold up there. And I understand why people don't want to go to Toronto because of the taxes. So he's been guilty of this shit. He's two-faced on this. Yeah, he saw an opportunity to get some popular favor on that step-in shit by Chris Broussard, but him and Tracy and a whole bunch of other guys did it too. But I did see it, and I did appreciate him saying that. I did. David's saying sometimes things are too little too late. See, that's the thing. He contradicts himself. He said those nice things about Toronto at that point, but for years leading up to that, he dissed the team. He dissed the Raptors and the city before that. Yeah. Victor saying, if the Spurs can get DeMar, do you think that would be good enough to get them in the playoffs with Wemby? Pop always spoke well of DeMar. Well, DeMar has had his time in San Antonio. There's no reason for him to circle back. I don't think that Spurs fans are interested in this, and I don't think DeMar is either. As much as the relationship between Coach Popovich and DeMar DeRozan's very good and strong, some ways DeMar's looking forward, not back. And San Antonio is going back from Chicago, and he wants to go to a new team, a fourth team. It'll be Toronto, San Antonio, Chicago, and then whatever team, hopefully the Lakers, that he goes to next. But yeah, I don't see him going back there. And they got Chris Paul to mentor Wemby this season. Yeah, Wayne saying, morning, Raptor Freaks. Team Canada on the schedule? Well, we're getting close to whittling down to the 12-man roster for Team Canada. We have a couple of tough choices to make still, but Oshae Brissett is out. due to free agency. And also Kyle Alexander dismissed from training camp, along with the youngsters, Shaden Sharp, Ben Maturin, and Leonard Miller. Now there's 16 guys left at camp, and 4 of them will get cut, and 2 of them will be named scrub. One of them will be named Trey Bell Haynes, and then the other 3 are going to be decided between, and that is Kabengele, Kem Birch, and Melvin Ejim. So that's where we're at, Wayne, right there in the gist. Mischief saying, even though we didn't sign Jalen Smith, I'm glad we didn't sign him because he's injury prone, like OG. Yeah, I like the fit of Jalen Smith in Chicago. I like Jalen Smith as a player. But yeah, in some ways, it is what it is. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. We can't get everybody. And in some ways, I really like how our team's looking right now. But I don't think we're done. Wayne saying, your view on rebounding regarding the Knicks is germane. What say Precious is the center in the center position? Hartenstein gone frees up opportunity for Precious. Say it's so, Lexicon. I'm buying gems. Well, I would say this. Precious is not on the Knicks yet. He is not on the Knicks. And in some ways, their position and what is happening, they may not be able to retain him. So Precious is an unrestricted free agent right now. In fact, he could circle back and come back to Toronto. We have money, and we could actually pay Precious an amount and have him back on our team. So you're saying it's germane what I'm saying? No, listen. It's a special synergy that came about in the middle of the season when OG showed up on the Knicks that came from OG playing next to Hartenstein and Precious. And, Mitchell wasn't really around. And the offensive rebounding for the Knicks was exceptional last season. Well, they've lost that with Hartenstein gone. They can crash the boards like crazy. You can say we can put Precious in that spot, but it's going to be different. And they need real centers. This league is getting bigger, and they're weak at the center position all of a sudden. And so that's what I would say about that, Wayne, as far as things. What did I just hear? A player circling back? I said I was buying gems, but I was joking. Think about that comment very seriously, Lex. I like Precious. I'm a Precious fan. And if somebody's going to circle back, I think the most realistic one is Precious. Obviously, it's not OG and Pascal, but Precious could circle back to Toronto. He actually could right now, and he could be very useful. He may not have to have as big a role in certain ways with the Raptors with some of our new guys around with size. So, Fiercely said, David, oh no, definitely not the Raptors. Our recent moves have been solid. I command our front office. I meant others. Example is Jonas joining the Wizards. Definitely a head scratcher to me. Well, Jonas is on a real good deal. I can't believe how much they're paying Jonas. Only $10 million a year for 3 years. I think it's because he wanted the length of the contract to be at least 3 years. And that is why Jonas took a less deal like that. The Wizards need a big man. They don't have a big man. Well, it just works out. So in some ways, I love Jonas Valanciunas. He can do no wrong. I'm sad that he's on the Wizards now, though. I am. Fiercey's got my cutoff at 11-12. And Fiercey's saying 306 Raptors is straight garbage. I was following at first and unfollowed quickly when I grasped the tone of their posts. Not a positive Raptors fan. Yeah, fuck 306 Raptors. He doesn't respect the team and the history and the things about the team like I do. He doesn't like real ones. In some ways, he's a casual, newer fan that thinks that it's fun to make fun of the Raptors while acting like they're a fan. I'm not about this. I'm not about this kind of toxic fandom where they feel like the Raptors are some sort of like puppy they can kick around. If you're going to have a puppy, treat it nice like Scotty does. Don't kick the puppy if you love the puppy. And that's what I say to 306 Raptors. If you love the Raptors, treat them like a loving puppy. If you abuse that puppy, fuck you then. You're a horrible person. And that's what I say right there. Yeah. Fiercely saying, Lex, did I read that Jamal Shead is wearing number 23? Is that true? Yes. That is the number that he is selected to wear for the Raptors this season. Jamal Shead wearing Freddie's 23. I have no idea if it's actually going to come to fruition, but if that's true, that that may not mean that we don't retire Fred's jersey. It's just that in some ways, 23 is such a special number for the whole entire NBA world because of Jordan. And in some ways, maybe we retire it later when Fred retires, but they have some players wear 23 after him. I could see that being part of it. Wayne saying, Smooth Brown Man and Lex, please don't start on civics, politics. Please don't start. I have no control on that topic. I'm sorry, Wayne. And partly it's because of 4th of July. And some people coming in and saying this is the greatest country in the world, United States. I just had to do a reality check real quick. David's saying, yeah, I think so, Fiercey. Jordan played for the Bulls, number 23, wide open in Toronto. Yeah, whoa. And nothing personal against Fred, 43 and 3, wide open too. I don't think 43 is wide open. You got to understand Masai and Pascal's relationship, and Pascal's too good. In some ways, it's also how many All-Stars you get, how many All-NBAs, how many accolades. And DeMar, Kyle, and Pascal all have a resume full of accolades. So they, all three of them, I don't see anybody getting 43 again. Nobody's going to wear 43 again. Nobody's going to wear 10. Nobody's going to wear 7. Somebody's going to wear 23, but that's partly because of Jordan love right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. David's saying also, at the end of the day, though, bench players who win a championship don't generally get their jerseys retired and hung in the rafters. No, but Fred's not that. I would say that. Yeah, I don't call Fred a bench player because he came our full-fledged starting point guard. And not only that, his accolades are supreme. David, he's a G League champion. He's an NBA champion. He's an all-star. He has our franchise record for most points in a game. He has our franchise record for most assists in a game. He's the greatest undrafted player in the history of the NBA. I would put him up against Moses Malone and other players. Moses Malone was supposed to be what he was supposed to be. Ben Wallace, yeah, they're big guys, but nobody like Fred. Fred's size, undrafted, has done what Fred has done. And that alone deserves a jersey retirement right there is what I'll say. Yeah. David saying, I realized he was undrafted and he was the leader after Kyle left, but he didn't stick around for very long in that position. Number 23 hanging the Raptors doesn't rate to happen, in my opinion. Well, I mean, that's your opinion, but I will tell you this right now. He is that kind of guy that we should probably retire. Seriously. Freddie is an important Raptor. Really, really important Raptor. We can disagree about this one. But I really do consider Fred the 4th greatest Raptor of all time. My list is DeMar, Kyle, DeMar, they flip, Pascal, and Fred. Those are the 4 greatest Raptors, in my opinion, all time in the history of the Raptors. That's my opinion. I don't put Kawhi. I don't put Vince. I don't put Bosh up there. No. The 4 real ones. And Fred is actually still a real one. You guys may think because he sold out and went to Houston and took a big contract, he's not. He needed to do that. A kid from Rockford that did what he did in his career to get to this point, he needed to do that. And he deserved to do that, honestly. Yeah, he's done phenomenally well and got a huge contract, but the reward is the bag after all. Listen, he's a big part of why we won the championship. You can say a bench role player, but that's not true. He turned it on in the finals. He was a big part of why we won the championship. And he is a big part of doing steady things for us in the years after. See, in some ways, you don't rate his achievements to get that. I do. Me personally. Carlos saying, my home country, Philippines, ranked 37, beat Latvia, ranked 6 in the Olympic qualifiers. What an upset. Yeah, let's do this. Thank you, Carlo. This is something that I had on tap to talk about today. The results from the qualifiers for the Olympics yesterday and team on day 2 in Greece. It was Croatia losing to New Zealand. This is kind of crazy because Croatia beats Slovenia and Luka already in the first game this week. And now they've lost to New Zealand. And we know New Zealand's not that good. And they have come up and beat Croatia. So that group is in chaos because there's everybody's getting a loss. Now, Dominican got destroyed by Greece. And that is Giannis. Giannis came in there and absolutely destroyed Dominican Republic by over 20 points. And yeah, Greece is going to be in the Olympics probably. If Giannis is going to play like this, yeah. Cameroon losing by 4 to Montenegro. That's too bad. Of course, if Siakam was there playing for Cameroon, they probably would have won that game. Beautiful game. And this is what Carlos talking about. Philippines beating Latvia in Latvia by 9 points. That's a big deal. You know, the Philippines had a really hard time at FIBA World Cup as a host. They did not win as much as they'd hoped for with Jordan Clarkson and everybody, Kai Soto. But they did it yesterday. And this is huge. And there's a really good reason why you are proud of this, Carlo. You should be, because that is a huge achievement. Latvia is a good team with Davis, Bertans. And yeah, that's a big accomplishment. In Puerto Rico, Lithuania just beating Ivory Coast. Actually, very close game. Actually surprised by that. And also Puerto Rico winning in their game, really kicking some butt. A big time win by Puerto Rico. In Spain, the Bahamas beat Poland, and Spain beat Angola. So, yeah, that was kind of expected on those ones. And we have to monitor this because, like I said, these qualifying tournaments will be teams that come and play Canada in their group with Australia. So far, Canada's in a group with Australia. The other 2 teams that are going to be in the group with us in the Olympics are to be determined. And that's what's going on right now. David's saying 43 has a lot of accolades. You're right, Lex. He's a G League MVP. He's a G League champion. He's the second banana NBA champion behind Kawhi as the second best player on that team. He's a most improved player. He's an all-star twice. He's an all-NBA player. Yeah. Siakam's got the resume. He's got the resume. And David's saying, nah, don't get me wrong, Lex. I'm not trying to sully Fred. I just was giving my 2 cents. It's all good. We don't have to agree on everything. But I will make the case for Fred every single time. The guy is only 6 feet tall. He's the greatest undrafted player in the history of the NBA. He really, really is. Let's see. I don't want to twist you up here before you're done. Get out of here. Yeah, it's not a problem. I know I'm over time right now. I'm in 2:08. Mobester's saying how Croatia lost to New Zealand. Laughing my ass off. That's insane. Croatia is one of the top teams in the world, FIFA rankings, and always gets far in every World Cup. I know. And New Zealand is not that good. Maybe they came out and did the haka to them, and it scared the shit out of the Croatians. They're like, wah, yeah, wah, yeah, yeah, yeah. You see how I made the computer shake when I did the haka there. That was pretty cool. No disrespect to those people there. I take that very seriously, and that is not in jest or making fun. That is very much an impression of respect. Seriously, I'm not trying to disrespect you guys. You guys are awesome with that. And I know you take that very seriously, New Zealand. Yeah. Smooth saying, being reported that Sasha V is headed back to Greece. Whoa. All right, let's go look at this. Sasha Venchenkoff is dissing the Raptors. Well, it's not going to be a Goran Dragic because honestly, in some ways, Goran Dragic showed up and tried and came around. And now, if this guy's just going to go ahead and go back, you're an idiot. Why are you doing this, man? You dumbass. All right, let's see. Wait. I got to do this right. All right, where's Blake? There's so many Blake Murphys on here. Let's see. Oh, man. All right, let's see. Okay, so they're saying that Venchenkoff and the Raptors would have come to an agreement on a buyout to allow him to head back. The amount of the buyout will be determined by cap implications for the Raptors. Now, this is old. Let's see. Sasha Venchenkoff has reportedly decided to return to Europe by signing a multi-year deal with Olympiacos. Now, see, this is like from 5 days ago. Is this totally true? Let's see. And that puts a nice bow on that quickly. And then Michael Grange is saying, so according to those in position to know, reports that Venchenkoff is leaving the NBA to play in Greece are not true. So this is this is the problem with misinformation. This is the old news, Smooth, from 5 days ago that Michael Grange debunked, and you're bringing it back like it's new because this is old. And then Blake's saying the saga continues. And now 14 minutes ago, somebody's saying Sasha Venchenkoff returns to Olympiacos. He accepted a multi-year deal around $3.5 million per season. He will wear red and white. Now, I don't know if that's actually true. Like, this is weird because, like, I want to trust man, what the hell? All right, Venchenkoff, you're kind of pissing me off. Either way, I don't give a shit. You're not that important. So if you're not going to come and show up for the Raptors, well, fuck you. Fuck you. You can go fuck off. And if it is going to be like this, it is whatever. If you never came and you never wasted our time, that's fine. That's totally fine. So, yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. We'll find out for real. I want an official word. Blake Murphy and Michael Grange are kind of conflicting with each other right now. Either way, I don't care. It's not as important either way. I mean, don't diss us, though. Don't diss us on the way out, Sasha, is what I'm going to say. If you are going to go ahead and go. And we'll buy you out and we'll have the room. And maybe that's part of the plan. That, in some ways, the Raptors want to just kind of get, more room on the roster with another spot. We'll have to see. In some ways, they were just doing a solid for the Kings and maybe dumping their trash. Now, I won't call Davion Mitchell that. Let's see. Trevor's saying Canada versus USA tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. That's not the Team USA men's. That's in the underleague, right? That's the underleague, right? Trevor, you're going to have to tell me which one because there's so many different levels. There's women's, there's men's, there's under 17, there's under 18. Trevor, don't just write that shit in there because you're going to make me think that Team USA is playing Team Canada tomorrow in Vegas and it's the proper teams, the top teams. So tell me which level, please. And David's saying dope. And Blackhawk saying any team can be beat. Never let your guard down. Respect your opponents. There you go. I like that from Neil. I'm going to give Neil a dunk for just general wisdom. And competition. There you go. 41. You got the Kelly Olynyk today on Independence Day, Canada Day. All right. Mobester's saying at least Dominican Republic is playing, but I'm glad they're playing soccer more because outside of baseball world, they aren't top in other sports. Laugh out loud. Yeah. Well, didn't they have some players that were in the NBA on their team? Like I'm trying to remember Al Horford, right? He's Dominican. And I want to say that there's somebody else in the league that actually plays for Dominican usually. Yeah, they're definitely top sport is baseball. I mean, there's a lot of good Dominican baseball players throughout the history of Dominican. Vladimir Guerrero, Manny Ramirez, David Ortiz. There's so many good Dominican players, pitchers too, in the history of, of course, Felix or not Felix. Yeah, Felix. I believe Felix. No, not Felix. Felix is Venezuelan. Whatchamacallit, the old pitcher for the Red Sox that's Dominican. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even remember his name. I don't care. David saying, haha, you were going to say you want to trust Grange, but you just couldn't do that. Haha, dunk for Lex. I wish I could trust Grange, but now Blake Murphy is actually more reliable than Grange. I have to say that. That's actually true. Blake Murphy is one of the most reliable Raptors reporters. Josh Lewenberg, Blake Murphy, probably the two. Oren Weisfeld, very reliable. Samson Folk, very reliable. Savannah Hamilton, very reliable. Yeah. But maybe Grange. Yeah, Grange, you're getting an Ohtani strike on this one. You want me to get a dunk for that? I don't deserve a dunk for that, David. Confusion. Trevor saying it's the under 17 basketball. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Trevor. I thank you appreciate you for clarifying. Under 17 basketball World Cup tomorrow, USA versus Canada, 8 a.m. Tune into that if you can. All right, let's see if I missed anything in the chat. We know that Jonte is getting a federal felony charge for his stupid decision to gamble on himself. Now we're hearing that Sasha Vechenkov is not going to be coming to report to the Raptors. He's getting bought out. He's going to go back to Europe. Well, what a silly little trip to try and come to the NBA. I guess you're not good enough, my guy. Sorry, Sasha. You're just not good enough. And that's just how it is right there. Yeah, that's it. Oh, birthdays, real quick. Happy birthday to DeAndre Bembry, guys. Former Net and former Raptor. DeAndre Bembry, of course, was a part of our Tampa season in a dark time. But still, former Raptor DeAndre Bembry, happy birthday to you. And also, guys, I want to say a very, very special happy birthday to former assistant coach, champion coach for the Toronto Raptors, Adrian Griffin. It is actually Adrian Griffin's birthday today also. How old is Adrian today? Adrian is actually 50 today, guys. So happy 50th birthday, Coach Griff. Man, the Bucks, pieces of shit. I say that in your honor, Coach Adrian Griffin. Fuck you, Milwaukee Bucks, and your crazy ass firing of Coach Griff in the middle of the season when he was the second best team in the Eastern Conference. You crazy motherfuckers. You deserve the dumpster fire that you had this year with your crazy ass Dame Lillard experiment and Doc Rivers running your damn team into the ground by the end of the year. Yeah, you deserved everything you got this year, and Griff did not deserve anything that he got this year. So sad for Adrian Griffin, but happy 50th birthday for you, my guy. We love you, man. You'll always be a Raptors champion. How about that? All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Tomorrow we'll have a Friday freak out at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can count on me to be there every single morning. Read your comments. If you're a subscriber, if you want to join our membership, yeah, privileges are there. Share, link, do whatever the fuck you want to do with my stream. I don't care. Clip out all my American rants today and put them politically on political pages. Go ahead. He just said some stuff that's like amazing. I want to put that somewhere because people need to hear this shit about Trump and fascism. Yeah, you go ahead, cut it out and put it all over the place. I don't care if people clip me. I'm not like Scott. Scott doesn't want you to clip his Twitch. Well, you can clip my YouTube. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Let's go, Canada. Happy Independence Day, United States. If you value your independence, take care of it and vote in the fall. And don't vote for Donald Trump. I'm telling you right now, if you really like democracy, you really like independence, you better vote for Biden, is what I'm going to say right now. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. I hope everybody has a great day. Raptorize your day like Nabatia would, and get out there and touch grass, just like Scotty Barnes would. That's right. Let's go, Team Canada roster. Let's go, Toronto Raptors.